Why did you kill my child? I will ask you again. Why did you kill my child?
That's my intro for today.
Owen, why did you kill his child?
I didn't. Fucking Virgil did.
I guess that's true.
It's a child murdering fucking freak.
Hey man, we're not all perfect.
Alright, well, this is episode 3 of the Gamer Tour podcast. And before we get too into what we're going to talk about today, let's really quickly get through what we have been up to.
It's been a lot.
Yeah, it has. It's been more than either of the other episodes, and we have the most to talk about with our stuff tonight. So it's a very
Word for a mouthful.
yeah, indeed. Well, you've definitely had the most exciting few weeks out of either of us. So why don't you talk about Combo Breaker?
It was the best experience of my life. I'm going to be going literally every year I can.
Nice.
For either the rest of my life or the rest of the event's lifespan. Because I mean the trip. I mean, if you go with a handful of friends, your hotel room's going to be less than $200 a piece. The event itself is less than $200. Obviously, I fucking spent more money at the venue on like food and t-shirts and fucking shit like that, but it was an amazing experience. Like I could not believe. I think the total people was like around close to 8,000 probably. I cannot believe how many people were there, and every single one of them was awesome to talk to.
That is cool.
Like that's I'm sure if you go to like literally any fucking gaming I've been to a football game before, and it's the same where it's like obviously everyone is there because they like football, so you can talk to any stranger about football and have a good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But fighting games are such like a there's so many levels to it because there's so many different games, and so many people play different games, so it was a great experience. I met a lot of cool people that I'm gonna keep in touch with. My friend Wesley, we actually we were talking shit to it was at the after party on Sunday. We were talking shit to like one of the head honcho commentators in the whole community, and we were talking about the One Piece card game, and he was like, "Fucking hit me up on Twitter. I will beat your ass in that game, dude." So me and Wesley, he finally hit us back up yesterday, and we're gonna see about playing some cards with him soon.
Nice.
So it's fucking insanely cool. I met so many people that I've been like following for fucking since MKX, basically since Mortal Kombat X came out in 2015. I've been like following this scene pretty heavily. So it was really cool to meet all these people and like not just meet them, but like actually talk to them, you know, because it's like they're not celebrities, you know, they just fucking do the same thing we do. They play video games, so
Yeah.
it's really cool.
Well, I'm happy for you. I'm happy you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, it was great, and there was a lot of alcohol at the venue too, so it was great. I also got that video of HBox, Josh's favorite Melee player, or just Smash player in general, I think. I got that video of him calling Josh fucking garbage.
Yeah,
so
that is awesome.
it was great. It was really good too, because like I ran into him at one point. I think we were just walking around the venue, and he just happened to walk by. So me and my buddy were like, "Oh, yo, Xbox," you know. This was right after he beat our friend. Fuck, who did he beat? He beat our friend Ethan in Melee on like top 16, I think, and we just happened to walk past, and we're like, "Hey, you know, good job. You know, you beat our friend." So we're like, kind of fuck you, but like, good job. And then later, literally right after he won winners finals for Melee, I was watching the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 losers finals, I think, because it was right next to the Melee venue. And I'm like standing so far back in the crowd, like no one should ever be coming towards me. And he just walks up right next to me and he just starts watching fucking Marvel with me. And I'm like, oh, yo, dude, what's up? So then when I saw him at the bar, like, I've already talked to him twice, basically. So I was like, hey, you want to do this video real quick? All I asked him was, hey, just tell my friend Josh he sucks at Smash Bros. Or something. Just whatever you want. And he yelled, you're fucking trash. And everyone in the, like, actual bar part of the bar looked at him. And we just started dying laughing, dude. It was great.
That is awesome. Josh, to tie into what I'm going to talk about, Josh sent me, there was a Multiverses tournament that he was, I don't know if he was hosting it or if he was just watching it or what.
He was just watching it, I bet. Him and Carlin had been talking about that.
Yeah, but Josh sent me the link to the video, and I was like, dude, is that the guy that said Joshua Orr sucks live on stream?
That's fucking hilarious.
Because other than the video you sent me, I don't think I've ever watched that person's content ever.
He's like the Jigglypuff player, so I'm sure you've seen a clip of him.
I'm just not super into the fighting game community, even with games that I really like Smash Bros. And stuff.
Right. Yeah,
I did tune in for like the second half of that tournament though, and it was cool.
What, the Multiverses one?
Yeah.
Nice.
Was there anything else you wanted to talk about with Combo Breaker, or how did you do?
I did extremely good for my first major ever, because like the biggest event I went to before this was I went to Champ's house for Street Fighter 6 and Dragon Ball FighterZ. Dragon Ball FighterZ only had 7 entries, I think, and Street Fighter 6 had like 15. Let me look really quick so I don't mess up the actual number. 1,438 people entered for Street Fighter 6, and I got 257th place at my first major.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's pretty fucking good even. So I'm happy to say my record at major events is 4-2, which is positive. So it's better than Wesley did, because so my pool started at 2 o'clock, I think, or 1 o'clock, something like that. And he had the very first pool of the first day at 10 o'clock. And he overslept. So he barely made it in time to watch my pools, actually. But it was a great time. And the dude who beat me, I'm not even mad, because the dude who beat me had like a fucking camera crew with him. So it's like he actually got 65th place.
Nice.
So it was not a fluke. He was actually really fucking good at Street Fighter. So that made me pretty happy.
I imagine if you have a camera crew, you better be good at it.
Right.
That's very exciting.
Yes, it was.
I'm not a big event person, so I don't know that I'll ever attend something like that. But I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
I definitely don't think it's something you'd be into, because like I feel like you'd have more fun just watching. Like if you wanted to watch a top 8 for something, I feel like you'd get more enjoyment out of it just drinking with like me and Josh watching it at home.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the
time has come, and so have I.
Exactly. Multiverses came out at the tail end of last month.
Yes.
And Josh and I have been playing the shit out of it. I think we've already doubled our time on it since the beta.
Hell yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. I've seen people complaining about it, like they made the game too slow and they fucking changed the way that some of the characters worked and blah blah blah. I think it works pretty good. I like the slower pace. It gives you time to actually think about what you're doing instead of just trying to like fucking dodge every second.
Right.
I don't know if I showed you this, but I already told you about how Josh and I just like we got on like a losing streak and we just decided to sell our souls to the devil. And we fit. I already told you, but I'll tell it again for the podcast. We were at our like fucking last legs. We were on like a fucking like 10 match losing streak or something. We were like, okay, fuck this, fuck everyone who plays this game. And I played as Iron Giant and Josh played as Wonder Woman, and we figured out that the way to win every single match in Multiverses is to play as those characters, specifically Iron Giant.
Okay.
Only play one match, never rematch. And the second you win, be as disrespectful as possible, and you will. It makes you win constantly. That's just how that game works. And we didn't.
Awesome.
And we didn't feel bad about it either, because people had been doing that shit to us for like fucking 7 out of the 10 matches we played. So the player base kind of fucking sucks. But the funniest thing is we played like fucking 20 matches like that night, and I think we lost like 2 of them.
Oh, really?
Most of them people just rage quit after we got like 2 stocks off of them.
That's awesome.
But I think yesterday there was a post, and Iron Giant has been removed from the game because they're working on him. Because not only I didn't use any of the infinite combos, but apparently he has like 3 infinite combos on top of just being like the most bullshit character in the game.
Oh, wow.
Because in the beta he sucks.
That's funny.
Or he did suck in the beta. But since they slowed down the game and they were like, hey, this guy's huge, this guy is like combo food, let's give him... They gave him a burst move that you can use at any time, even mid-combo, that just deals damage to whoever's standing around you so you can get yourself out of combos.
Oh, wow. That's fucking terrible.
And it has a cooldown, but it's still like... It's really bullshit that you can use it like mid-combo.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts.
So yeah, they're reworking him. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do about it. Honestly, I didn't mind it because I only encountered an Iron Giant like maybe like 3 times, and all 3 of those times they fucking sucked.
Oh, really?
But I guess after Josh and I went on our rampage, something had to be done.
They did that strictly because of you two.
To be fair,
he was telling
really
me about that. He was telling me about that the other day. How like Iron Giant's really good for 2v2s, but it's pretty low tier for like 1v1s.
Also, I was really freaked out because the next night, Josh didn't play. I was just doing some solos.
That freaked you out that bad?
I was just doing some solos. And I played like 5 or 6 matches because I was just trying to get my dailies done.
Sure.
And I was playing as Batman. And for all 5 matches, I 3-stalked the opponent, and I knew that they weren't bots because all but one of them killed themselves after their second stock was gone, and they hadn't like killed me once. And I thought for certain that this was like that I had like sold my soul to some higher being to make myself better at the game.
That's funny.
But then I got on the other night and I lost a few times. So, but no, it's been fun. I haven't been playing it as much recently because I'm trying to get back into editing and stuff. But
yeah.
No, it's been a lot of fun though. I'll definitely be playing it for the foreseeable future.
Nice. I think it's healthy to have at least one fighting game on your roster.
Yeah.
Keeps your brain young.
Smash Bros will always be at the top of my list, but
sure.
I don't like the multiplayer in that game. At least the online multiplayer.
Yeah, that's the one thing that sucks about it is that Nintendo is never going to make that better.
Oh, definitely not. They're just in general like 5 steps behind everyone console-wise.
Yeah.
Their games are all fucking magnificent, but
they just don't care about them.
Yeah.
The consoles, I mean.
Yes. Or they know that they can sell like a $300 PS3 to everyone, and like 1 billion people will buy it over and over again. Well,
You know what's funny? Real quick before we start, uh, fucking what's it called? Toei Animation. They came out recently and admitted they're like, yeah, the reason we don't advertise anything for Dragon Ball anymore is because we know that you guys will just fucking buy whatever we put out. Like, so they're just like admitting to like not making content for ages, and they're just like, yeah, we know that whenever we do put something out, it's going to be the best selling thing that year anyway. So fuck it.
that's awesome.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Those people are smart.
I mean, they are, but that's kind of it's. I wish they just didn't say that.
Yeah,
You know.
they figured it out. If only Marvel could do that. Disney could do that for everything they own.
Seriously.
Well, let me grab another drink before we start talking about the entire Devil May Cry franchise.
I'm so happy.
So fucking the last 2 episodes we talked about one game each, talking about
Now we're
6
talking
games.
about 6. Yeah.
So yeah,
it's
this
fucking
is
great.
let me get my drink real quick. I have my drink.
Excellent.
Well, we are going to begin this discussion by starting at the beginning with Devil May Cry
Yes.
1, the first one. Not DMC Devil May Cry, just Devil May Cry.
Just so you know, by the way, I don't know how well versed you are into the community side of it, but pretty much everyone calls every game their full name, and then the reboot's just DMC Devil May Cry.
Isn't that the full name?
Yeah, but I mean like when you're talking about Devil May Cry 1, people will just say Devil May Cry.
Well, I think the title of DMC is the DMC Devil May Cry, isn't it?
It is, but like I'm just letting it be.
You're just
out.
You're just an idiot.
Yeah. That's me.
Well, I'll start out by saying that I actually this is my first time playing all of these games except 5. And I got through them all basically in like 3 weeks, I think.
It was extremely fucking fast.
Yeah, they're all pretty short, but how much of these did you, because you're a big Devil May Cry fan, so you didn't replay all of these in advance for this?
No, I pretty much just did a refresher on DMC 2 and 4.
Okay.
Because those are the 2 I've played the least. But just so I have something to keep my mind on Devil May Cry. I'm going through Nero's Bloody Palace right now on 5.
Nice.
But I've been pausing it whenever I'm actually thinking about what I'm saying though. So
that's good.
What did you think of Devil May Cry 1?
It was good. I think that it's other than 2, I think it's the weakest of the series, just because it's the first one, and they didn't have everything quite figured out yet in terms of like the wide variety of combat options and
right,
like crazy weapons, and it does have a few good weapons, but
what's your favorite weapon
in the first one?
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely just used what's it called? What's the sword called? The Alistair or whatever, the electric one. Yeah, I probably used that one the most. Although it's called don't tell me what it is. Isn't it Ifrit or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the hands.
Yeah. I think that the Ifrit in that game was probably my favorite melee combat weapon in any of the games, because I actually
in any of them really.
Yeah, I don't really like the like Beowulf is cool. I didn't really like the one that was in 5, and the one that was in 4 was like actually the worst weapon in the game.
Yeah, we don't talk about that one.
And the one in DMC sucks too.
Yeah. No, that's probably that might be the worst weapon in that game. Let me see. I'm trying to think. Um, did you play as Virgil in 5 at all?
A little bit. I
Did you,
played
you
like 3 missions with him, I think.
his Cerberus or not Cerberus,
Beowulf.
his Beowulf moveset in 5. It's basically the same as 3,
Yeah,
but like
Beowulf is definitely the best that isn't Ifrit.
I
Something
think
about Ifrit was just so fun though, because like all the moves like exploded and stuff.
yeah. Ifrit definitely feels like honestly other than like maybe Cavalier from 5, it has like the most weight to it, I
Yeah,
think, out of like any of the weapons. Um which is great because when you're a fucking devil hunter, you want to feel the weight of that shit.
yeah. The thing about Devil May Cry 1 though is that there's no weapon switching. So I mean you can go in your
Yeah.
inventory and change it whenever you want, I guess. In that one.
Right.
Um but it's not the same as just being able to like press a button and switch to it. So whenever you equip a weapon in that game, you're kind of committing to it to an extent.
Right. No, that's true.
So I don't even remember what the third weapon was if there was one.
I don't think there is.
Okay. But yeah, oh yeah, you get the Devil Sword Sparta at some point. I don't know if that's like
Oh
what you
yeah.
can actually like equip though.
I think you just have it for a part of the
Yeah,
game.
yeah. But no, the gameplay is definitely better than 2. It's definitely like weaker than the other ones though. Just because it was the first one, they, like I said, they hadn't figured everything out yet. That being said, even for it being the first Devil May Cry game and having the least like options and stuff in it, except maybe 2,
Right.
it's still a very smooth combat experience, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. I on my top 100 games, I put it a little bit above God of War original,
Nice.
because
Yeah,
I did like it more than that.
I think Devil May Cry 1 is like a top 5 underrated fucking PS2 game, honestly.
It's definitely a classic.
Yeah.
The thing that I love the most about 1 is that you can tell that it was supposed to be Resident Evil 4 at one point.
Yes.
Like just based off of level design alone.
No, absolutely.
I think that this game does have my favorite level design out of any of the games.
It's really good.
It is.
Yeah. The whole Malay Island, like, it's just perfect.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I noticed when I was replaying 2 for this, is how fucking terrible that game is, like, design-wise.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fucking boring.
Yeah, the only other DMC game I can think of that rivals the first one in terms of level design is maybe 4.
4's pretty good with it. I like 5 quite a bit.
3 has
As
3 has some interesting levels in it, but after a while they all kind of turn into like just like gross like gray areas. We have to make like a bunch of annoying jumps and stuff.
No, that's definitely the worst part of 3 is that
Yeah.
like 3 would have the best, but like so much of that game is just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like as far as the levels, I mean.
Yeah.
Whereas with like 5, I don't think any levels in 5 are egregious.
No,
5
5 was 5. The levels in 5 were like very enjoyable, but they weren't like well designed, I would say.
Yeah,
Like,
5 is definitely the most like mild of the levels in the game. But we'll
get into those later.
Yeah, not to get too far off.
But no, this one definitely did have my favorite level design out of any of them.
That's great. It has my favorite theme in the series that doesn't have any like vocals to it.
And what's that?
It is fucking.
Is it
What's it
ultraviolet?
called? It's the Public Enemy.
Oh, okay.
I think it's that's just like the main combat theme. I think, but that's my I like. So Devil May Cry 5 has the jukebox Jesus Christ jukebox feature, and and I always set Dante's fight theme to be that
Nice.
because Subhuman kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But it's grown on
Ultraviolet.
me, but
Ultraviolet is my favorite song in the series.
that's a really good. That's the not Nero, Nello Angelo fight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, another thing about this game was that most of the bosses were really cool.
By most, you mean all of them except Griffin 2 and Nightmare 3?
Yes.
Yes.
And to some extent, Mundus.
Yeah, Mundus. I think honestly, other than Nightmare, Mundus is probably my least favorite boss. But I'll give him this. He feels like the final boss of that game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, they nailed it on the fucking head.
The Mundus
Like-
fight in that game feels like there's a fight at the end of Sly Cooper 1 where you have a jetpack and you have to there's like a bullet hell segment before you actually fight the final boss, and it felt like that.
Oh yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I think Devil May Cry 1 honestly has probably the third best roster of bosses out of the series.
You're probably right.
Cause I'm definitely putting 5 and 3 above it.
Definitely, yeah.
4 has some cool bosses, but 1s are definitely way more iconic.
Yeah, and 4 also has a few not that good bosses in it. In fact, it has a
Yeah.
few terrible bosses in it even.
Right. And then Reboot, fucking Reboot.
Yeah, to be fair, Reboot has a pretty decent
I think
some of the bosses are
honestly-
fun in that game.
Honestly, I think the same way I said 5 has the most mild level design, I think Reboot has the most mild bosses.
Yeah.
But 1's bosses, man, they're fucking awesome. Phantom is probably in my top 20 bosses of all time.
Phantom was pretty cool.
I love Phantom so much. The first Griffin fights the first and the third Griffin fights were really cool.
I didn't like the third Griffin fight at first because I was really confused what I was supposed to do. But then when I figured it out, it was really cool.
I think by the time I'd played Devil May Cry before, but by the time I got to Griffin 3, because I think the first time I tried playing it, I got stuck on the first Nello Angelo.
It's hard at first.
Yeah. But by the time I tried playing it again, I was friends with Josh and he was telling me what to do. So, but yeah, that shit's cool. Nightmare is interesting. I don't feel any type of way about it. I used to hate Nightmare a lot, but if you watch speedruns and you know exactly what to do with Ifrit, it's fucking easy.
Yeah.
But no, Phantom, Nello Angelo, and Griffin are fucking awesome.
Yeah, Nalo Angelo was my favorite boss in the game.
Yeah, Nello Angelo 3 is the best fight in the game, but I don't know, I have a soft spot for Phantom, which is kind of hilarious because I have a deep-rooted fear of spiders. But he's made out of magma and lava, so
Yeah.
it's cool.
This game also had a lot of weird, interesting stuff that wasn't in the other games. There's a whole swimming mechanic.
Yeah.
That's first
Yeah.
person, and there's a needle gun.
Yeah, you know why they didn't bring that back?
Because it sucks.
Because it fucking sucks.
It does definitely suck, but it was
Yeah.
interesting.
They definitely
and actually,
were trying stuff.
You want to know a fun fact?
Yeah, go ahead.
They did bring back the swimming in the Lucia segments in Dark Souls 2, in a Devil May Cry 2.
Dark Souls 2.
Yeah.
That's cool.
At least
Not really.
there's one at least.
I can't believe they brought it back for also the worst thing the series has ever produced.
To be fair, it's very different in a Devil May Cry 2.
Okay, yeah.
But
That's fair.
it was definitely weird, but I feel like
Speaking
it adds more
of,
to the game though, that it makes it more unique.
Yeah, for sure. I think honestly, weird shit like that stems from it originally being a Resident Evil game.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they were trying to. At first they were trying to like push what Resident Evil, like what RE usually was. They were trying to push it so far that they're like, oh, let's see how like this dude's gonna have a sword instead of just guns,
He
and
has unlimited ammo.
he has unlimited ammo. He's gonna swim. Like they were just doing everything they could possibly think of that hadn't been done in RE yet. And eventually Capcom was like, they came back for. I bet they came back after a few months of development, and they were just like, guys, I asked, oh my god, what are you doing? Like it's just so out of like one dude had an idea, and that led to 3 more dudes having ideas, and next thing you know, they're fighting a fucking magma tarantula. It's fucking awesome.
It is awesome. It even ends the same way as a Resident Evil game, also, because there's like a whole like
specifically, it ends the same way fucking RE4 does.
yeah, except in a
How
plane
funny.
in a plane instead of a boat.
That's honestly really funny because that makes you think that like of all the ideas they came up with during Devil May Cry, that was the one they're like, yeah, put that one in the game. They're gonna fucking escape an island on a timer at the end.
Which it is cool.
It is cool. It's a very easy way to add like finality to your game. But it is funny that that's like the one thing they kept. What did you think of Trish's character in 1, by the way, since you brought up her 2 counterpart, Lucia? What'd you think of Trish?
She was alright. I thought it was really annoying how she betrays you, and then like in the next mission it's like, oh, I'm sorry, he's gonna kill me.
It is kind of annoying, but it's the same exact fucking thing that happens in the first cutscene.
Yeah, I know.
So, can't be too surprised.
That first cutscene is pretty awesome and funny, though.
That first cutscene might be in my like all-time cutscenes. It's fucking insane how stupid that cutscene is.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome.
Lost a mother and a brother 20 years ago.
To evil.
To evil. It's fucking great.
But no, she was...
Whoa!
She
Slow down, babe. Fucking love it.
Yeah,
Also, fun fact, I'm pretty sure that cutscene is the only time Dante refers to Ebony and Ivory as guys instead of girls.
that is interesting.
Yeah, because when Trish throws the motorcycle at him, he goes, all right, guys, let's go to work. And it's like, it's weird. They hadn't thought of the idea of Ebony and Ivory yet as characters, basically.
Yeah.
Which it's cool to see really small, stupid shit like that become like actual focal points of the story later. Not focal points, but like interesting things and concepts.
Yeah.
Like how in 5, you have the granddaughter of the girl who made the guns for him and shit and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know. I also don't know, so I'm not going to pretend that I do. But I watched the first like
about the anime and how and the manga and stuff where it shows the person that made the guns.
Yeah. Okay.
I watched a lore video earlier today.
Oh, okay. I've looked into the manga a little bit, and I watched like the first 4 episodes of the OVA like 7 years ago, so I'm not gonna fucking pretend to remember any of it, but I do know some characters were in it.
Indeed.
So yeah.
I hardly remember it either, and I just watched the video today, so
That's awesome.
it seemed really stupid. But...
Yeah, it's definitely not the highlight of this series.
Yeah.
But yeah, 1's really cool.
1 is cool.
I think it was what year did 1 come out? Like 2003? Probably. It had to have come out before RE4.
Yeah, I want to say like 2002, maybe.
Probably somewhere around there. Yeah, it had to have because Devil May Cry 3 came out in 2005. So they probably had like yearly releases.
Well, that's not very much time to work on Devil May Cry 2.
Is it not? It If they can make Dark Souls 2 in like 2 years, they can fucking
Make Devil May Cry
Dev-
2 in 6 months.
Yeah, that's just deductive math. Um, fuck, I don't even remember. Oh yeah, is Devil May Cry 1 like the first game of the genre that is like stylish action? It had to have been, right?
I would assume so. Um,
Because honestly, a lot of the games that I would consider in that genre are made by the same fucking group of people,
yeah. I mean,
and
when
they
did
all started with
when did God of
yeah.
War come out?
The first God of War came out in 2004,
Okay.
so
Because all I can think of is like that and like the fucking like Two Towers.
yeah,
At
yeah,
least
that's
in that
fair.
at least in that time frame,
Right.
that would be like releasing around the same time, or not around the same time, but like around that like the beginning of the PS2 era.
That makes sense. Yeah, one thing I don't know if I actually wish they would bring it back or not, but Devil May Cry 1, like we talked about it when you were playing through it, how some missions in Devil May Cry 1 are like 2 minutes long and then
Yeah.
other ones are like 20 minutes long. It's like part of me kind of wishes they brought that back because it's really nice when like you have a goal and it's like, "Hey, go from A to B." And it's like once you get to B, the mission just ends.
You want to
And
hear a
it's like,
funny analogy?
yeah, go ahead.
The Devil May Cry levels are kind of like Lego game levels, where like once you get far enough in the Lego games, like today with like Rise of the or not the Rise of Skywalker, the Skywalker Saga game. Actually, the levels are pretty short in that game. Like if you get to like Lego Force Awakens compared to like the original Saga or whatever the fuck.
Uh-huh.
The missions in the complete saga are so short, but like that's why that game is fun, because you can just beat one of those missions in like 5 minutes.
Right.
And then you get to Force Awakens and it's like a fucking 40-minute slog for each
Yeah.
mission. It's like, why
I
are
know,
you doing this?
not to get too far off topic, but the last Lego game I tried to play was DC Supervillains, I think is what it was.
Oh yeah, that's
With
also like that.
the one where you create your own
Yeah,
character. I got it because I was just in the mood to play a Lego game. It was I'm pretty sure it was either free or like on a really good sale.
yeah.
And I was playing it and I played it. I made my character. That took like 10 minutes maybe. And then I played it for like no fucking kidding, like an hour and a half it felt like. And I did not beat the first level and I was like, I'm not going to fucking play this. This is fucking ridiculous. Like I'd get further in fucking Baldur's Gate by now. Like
Yeah,
what's going on?
they get pretty egregious. And
Yeah.
some of the later Devil May Cry games get pretty egregious too. Not to that extent, but
I don't know. I can't think of a single mission that should take you more than like 25 minutes.
no. But it's just that like
I'll say this though. The first time I played through 3, I got lost so fucking hard constantly.
Yeah.
Kind of 4 too. Like there were a few missions that definitely took me over 30 minutes. Even if I were to go back and play 3 right now, I guarantee you like 1 or 2 missions would take me about 30 minutes to beat just cuz I'll fucking get turned around.
I guess
But
for me it's more so like the pace of the game. That's
Sure.
Because when I play those games, I like sit down. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna beat like a few missions. And in DMC one, it's like, oh, okay, I'll start this mission, and then it's over in like 2 minutes. Like, oh, okay, I guess I'll play another one.
right.
Whereas in like 4, like no mission is gonna be shorter than like 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's
So-
true. I guess. I guess so.
Which isn't necessarily a problem, but I don't know.
I mean, here's the thing about that though is that like you can't really I know you're not doing this, but I'm just going to word it this way. You can't really discredit or shit on the game for that because like 95% of games that come out anymore aren't like mission or stage based. It's just
yeah.
you just fucking stop playing whenever you want to stop playing, which whenever the mission started getting longer in Devil May Cry, that's where you can just fucking quit out whenever you want.
Yeah, DMC5 was
So
really good about that.
yeah, so it's like that's really nice because like if it were like the old games like on PS2 and shit where it's like, oh, you don't want to finish this fucking mission, eat shit. Like,
I'm not
just fucking
saying
deal with it.
I'm not saying that I dislike the. I think that the only game where it's really a problem is 2, because some of those levels in 2
Yeah.
are like agonizing.
Yeah, no, for sure. A 10-minute level in 2 is worse than if any mission in 4 or 5 took like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like way worse. Which I guess we've talked about one, or we had talked about one enough. We can start talking about 2 really.
Yeah.
2's enemy roster is so fucking abysmal, dude. I hate every single enemy in that game, I think.
They're pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem with 2 is that it's just really fucking boring.
It's really boring. They changed the combat just enough so that it's somehow worse than 1.
Yes, absolutely.
Because in 2, they do the weird, like, directional thing instead of just timing your hits.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we were just fine playing the guitar, and now you're over here giving me drumsticks. Like, what are you doing? I don't know how to play this.
Which, to be fair, I think when they started working on that game, they like didn't even know why the first one was like successful at that point. Because they were just like, oh, this game looks awesome. Make another one right fucking now.
Yeah, and I'll give right hand on the Bible. I'll give Devil May Cry 2 this. The trailers for it look fucking cool. It makes it look like a cool game.
Yeah.
And then you play it and you go, oh, huh.
Now,
no, this sucks.
To be fair, I have at least one good thing to say about 2.
What's that?
I really like the Devil Trigger stuff in the game. I feel like it definitely
like
is
being able to fly and shit.
Yeah, like having the equipable items that you can like switch around and stuff is cool.
It is cool.
And
it's something they never brought back.
Yeah. And on top of that, like just being in Devil Trigger in 2 makes you feel so fucking powerful compared to the other games, which like it completely breaks the game because everything is a joke when you're in Devil Trigger.
Yeah.
But as a result, it feels like I had fun, whereas I would probably be bored out of my mind in that game. I had a lot of fun when I was in Devil Trigger and just like annihilating things.
Yeah, DT.
And I feel like in all the other games, it's Devil Trigger's nerfed quite a bit in the other ones.
See, I think that's wrong. I think it's perfectly normal in all the other ones. And at some point during the development of 2, they're like, "Oh fuck, this game sucks. All the weapons are boring. This is terrible. Just make Devil Trigger and the guns really powerful so they can just beat the game."
Yeah. What I mean is that I think that it's definitely toned down a lot from 2, in like 3 onward.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Because it's definitely it's not that much different than 1 and 3.
True, but I mean, I don't know. I definitely feel like honestly, the guns being an oversight could be a thing, but part of me does believe that they're like, I don't really like playing this. I just want to shoot everything. So during the development, like when they were playtesting it, they're like, oh, let's just make the guns really strong. This is taking forever. So they just buff the guns.
You are probably right. Another thing that sucks about 2. There's no like cool weapons. It's just 3 different swords, and the difference is that one of them is your regular sword, one of them is really strong, but it has a little bit shorter of a reach, and then the other one has a really long reach, but it's weak.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
It's lame. It's so fucking lame.
It's so lame.
And in 2 also, there's a few different guns, but you never want to switch away from the pistols because they're so fucking good.
Right. So 2, let me get this straight, has the worst level design, has the worst bosses, has the worst weapon roster, has the worst enemy roster, and is the easiest game.
Yes.
sounds like a winner. It is a miracle that 3 got fucking made, dude. Like, honestly. Like I said, though...
bet 2 sold well.
Yeah, that's that. Like I was gonna say earlier, I mentioned the trailer for it looks fucking cool.
Yeah. Also,
that's not a lie because it sold decent.
And also, I'm sure that plenty of people, it was their first Devil May Cry game, like Josh, and they loved it.
That's true too, actually. I don't think about. I started like after the fucking collection came out, so like, I never actually played them on PS2 while they were like only on PS2.
Yeah.
So, but yes, it's a good point. It being your first Devil May Cry, that's crazy. That's so drastic of a difference between that and like your first one being 5. Like,
yeah.
Would you have played any of the other ones if your first one was 2?
I mean, if I wasn't doing it for this, definitely not.
Yeah. That's great.
I
forgot when I was listing off all the worst things that 2 has. Worst female character also.
Yes, definitely, absolutely.
Because there's always a female character in one of the games, and at least one in all the games.
Yeah.
At
least one
my
new
favorite.
one.
Yeah. Trish has always been my favorite because she's so fucking cringy in Devil May Cry 1.
Lady is my favorite.
That's fair too. This is stupid, but Lady would be my favorite. But you know what Trish has that Lady doesn't?
What outfit?
She's in Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
So and she uses Sparta in that, so it's fucking. I think that's another cool thing. Like, obviously, Lady has like her fucking Kalina Ann rocket launcher or whatever,
yeah.
And that's really cool. But the fact that Trish just uses Sparta because Dante fucking doesn't need it, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I just like the way that Lady is implemented into 3's story. I think she's definitely the best, like, story-wise female character.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
I
honestly wish they gave her more shit in 5 since Nero has like such a kind of similar problem to her where it's like, my dad's a fucking asshole, I need to kill him almost.
Yeah, well, to be fair, they only introduced that like in the last 3 levels, so...
That's what I mean, is that I wish that like, she had more to do in 5. Like Trish, she can take a backseat because it's like, you know, she's been in more games. But,
yeah. There were a few things I want to talk about before we move on. The auto lock-on feels worse in 2 somehow.
Yeah.
Somehow than in 1.
Also, somehow, I think a lot of the camera angles are worse than they were in 1.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
The areas in 2 feel like they were designed around being able to control the camera.
Absolutely. Especially where enemies run. Like, you'll be in a fucking... You'll walk into, like, let's say in, like, Mission 2, I think. You'll walk into a, like, street that branches off into 2 other streets. And you'll start to walk onto one of those streets, and then the area will close, and it's like, you're in combat now, you have to beat all the enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, all of them will fucking spawn off camera. And you just have to go find them.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Also, the reason the lock-on is bad is because it's, like, automatic. And, like, you're always locked onto someone in 2.
Right.
No matter where they are, no matter how far away they are. If there's an enemy in the area, you're locked on to them.
Yeah.
And that made some of the later levels so fucking annoying because they put these things in the game that you have to like smack to activate stuff.
Yeah.
There's this one level, I don't remember what level it is, but there's this one level where there's like 3 of those things on this like rooftop. And there's these like bat things coming after you. And I want to say that it like unlimitedly spawns the bat things. But Dante always faces his opponent. So when you're trying to smack those things, he can't target them. He's always targeting the enemies. So those bat things could be like fucking miles away, and he'll just be like smacking towards them. It's like you have to perfectly line up where he's going to be swinging with the things that you're trying to hit. And it was so fucking frustrating. I cannot believe that they changed the lock-on system. It didn't need to be changed.
No, it didn't.
Also, all of the voice acting is like absolute dog shit. And
Yeah,
to be
it's way worse than it was in 1.
yeah, and to be fair, it's pretty funny at points.
Yeah.
Lucia had a few pretty funny lines. She was definitely the worst. Her voice actress was like the fucking worst voice actress I've ever heard. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Like the first.
I don't think anyone in that game is good except like Dante though.
Yeah. The first line in the game, after like the whole like monologue about Sparta and stuff. The first line is Lucia looks at Dante and she's like, "Till next time, son of Sparta." And she says it in like the dumbest fuck, like she didn't understand the words she was saying. Like she didn't comprehend the English language. They
literally, like, no disrespect to whoever. I mean, actually, maybe a little disrespect. I'm sure you're not a voice actor still. Like, they had to have been found on like eBay, dude. Like fucking early 2003 eBay, if that was even a thing yet. Otherwise, like that's not a professional voice actor.
Yeah. Arius was also. I would say that he was the worst villain in the series, but I think that Mundus in DMC Devil May Cry might be worse.
He's for sure worse.
Yeah, but Arius. The only thing going for Arius is that he's funny.
I mean, I think Mundus is also funny, to be fair.
For different reasons, though.
Yeah, that's
like, he was
true.
definitely not supposed to be funny.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Like, Arius is actually, like, when Dante does the switcheroo with the coin, and he, like, fucks up his ritual, and he's like, "What?" Like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. Also, the coin thing, it's a little weird.
It was weird.
Don't know why they did that.
I don't know, the story to the game just doesn't fucking, like, make any sense or matter.
No, not at all.
Because a lot like Trish, Lucia finds out in her story that she's like a clone, or she's like a demon clone or something.
Right.
Which she kind of talks about in Dante's campaign, but you only like figure out exactly what happened in her campaign, and I only got halfway through it, so I don't know how it ended. But yeah, they already did pretty much the same thing with Trish, so I don't know why they did that again. And Dante does pretty much the exact same thing to her, where he's like, "Oh, you're human. Devils never cry."
Yeah. That's such a silly, like, phrase that they always try to fucking do.
I mean, it's for the most part, I like it. In 2, it sucks, though. I mean, it doesn't even really suck in 2. It's just that I hate Lucy as a character, and I don't care.
Oh, yeah. No, I know what you mean.
I like that line, though. It's a good line.
Yeah.
I think that the worst utilization of it is in 3 when a lady says somewhere "a devil may cry" or something. I think that
3.
I think that's a stupid line.
Yeah, it's really dumb. But it's it ties the knot on what all of 3 fucking is, though.
Yeah.
Just a fucking stupid game. I think genuinely, I know I just said it's stupid, but I genuinely think Devil May Cry 3 might be the single coolest game of all time.
I can agree with that.
Like, as far as what the word cool fucking means.
Yeah, do you want to, have we talked about 2 enough? Do you want to go ahead and move on to 3?
I'm always cool cutting 2 short.
I don't think that there was anything else I wanted to talk about.
I mean, if you think of something, we can just talk about it.
Yeah.
3 is so fucking cool.
3 is a actual masterpiece.
Yeah, it is. I would have to, as someone who did not grow up with the PlayStation 2, it is the best game on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, if my favorite game of all time wasn't Ratchet and Clank 1, I would agree with you.
That's fair.
I
Devil May Cry 3 is a fucking literally genre-defining game, dude.
Definitely.
Without Devil May Cry 3, you don't have fucking Bayonetta. You don't have any other game that is like it.
Yeah.
Not that I haven't beaten any of the Bayonetta games. I don't fucking care.
Pretty much any platinum game.
Yeah, pretty much. Revengeance probably still would have happened, but it wouldn't have been as cool.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking sick, dude.
Going into all of these games, like at least playing them blind, because I've watched you play 3 before. I hardly remembered anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure you could believe it, but you couldn't believe like my amazement going from 1 to 2 to 3 and being like, holy shit, this game is like 5 times better than 1.
Right, yeah.
It's like,
no, it's fucking awesome.
It's one of like barring like 5, it's one of the smoothest games I've ever played, and it's a fucking PS2 game.
It is, yeah, it's crazy. And for it to be as smooth as it is, and it doesn't even, I feel like it not having the style switching yet also helps with how smooth it is too. Just because it's a little simpler.
Yeah.
Which helps that game out, because I haven't played it on the Switch, so I don't know what the style switching feels like on 3, but I'm sure it's kind of busted in that game because the game's not tuned to work that way.
Definitely.
Where like you can, like the fact that you have to choose like, hey, do I want to be able to use Trickster to like always dodge all these enemy attacks, or do I want Swordmaster or Gunslinger to like do more cool combo damage?
Or Royal Guard, because I'm a fucking badass and I can just parry everything.
I'll be so honest. I fucking suck at Royal Guard in 3.
I never used it.
It is. You never used it in 5 either? I assume?
I used it. I tried using it in 5 a little bit. I wasn't very good at it, but it's definitely easier to use in 5.
It is substantially easier in 5. Because I'm pretty sure in 3 you can't just block with Royal Guard. You have to like actually like get some of the timing down. Because in 5 you can just hold it as a block button, and if you have Devil Trigger, it'll just eat away at your Devil Trigger.
But if DMC3 is like the only game you play, I'm sure it's the way to go.
Yeah. No, I'm so serious. If a fucking alien from space came to my fucking house right now and said, "Hey, we don't have video games. What are those?" And they were like, "Give us one video game and our entire civilization will check it out," I would say Devil May Cry 3.
That's completely fair.
It's perfect. It is so perfect.
And
it's a prequel too, so you don't need to play any of the other ones.
Yes, and it's a very good prequel also.
Go ahead.
We haven't talked about the story in any of the other games so far, because who fucking cares? The story in 3 is so fucking good.
Yeah.
It definitely has the best writing out of any of the games. I like the story in 5. I think the story in 5 is really good. But it doesn't touch 3 though.
No, I like the story in 4 and 5, but
4 is pretty good. But
4 is it's pretty good. I'd say 5 is really good, and then 3 is like, it's 3 might be like the biggest like, how the fuck did you do this of all time?
Yeah, especially on the PS2.
You made this game on the PlayStation 2 in 2005, coming off of what we did not know yet to be one of the worst sequels of all time. And then you fucking 180 that and immediately make one of the best sequels of all time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's mind fucking blowing, dude.
Like, dude, Virgil is such a fucking good antagonist.
Yeah,
like,
no.
He's probably the best rival character of all time.
Yeah, I'd be willing to
like,
say that.
It's that and like Cloud and Sephiroth, and like that's it. And I think that Virgil might be better than Sephiroth, honestly, because he has he's also Dante's brother on top of being like the fucking badass like swordsman guy.
Right. And it's so fucking cool too how they're twins, obviously. And then in the first fight, whenever you're fighting on the rooftop and it's raining and shit, and his hair gets slicked down, it's like that's literally the same fucking character model.
Yeah.
And then he just slicks his hair back and he's a whole new character.
It's so like, cool.
It's awesome. It is so cool. And then, of course, they just have their red and blue colors to, like, contrast each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fucking awesome.
And their ideologies, too, are very cool.
Yes. I fucking love it. And then, the only thing, like I said earlier, it's a prequel, so you don't need to really play any, like, 1 or 2 to get anything out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think the coolest thing that you can get out of it if you play 1 is that at the end of 3 when Virgil's just like running through hell towards Mundus and you're just like no he's gonna lose. No, it's like sad as fuck.
Yeah
That's something else about 3, man, is that like we've already said how good the story is, but like it's kind of sad.
Oh yeah, because like that lady has all of her shit going on top of Dante and Virgil's like fucking rivalry going on.
Yeah. Arkham is also easily the best villain this series has ever had and will ever have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than like Virgil, of course.
Yeah.
But like we said, Virgil's more of like the rival antagonist instead of like a strictly villainous character.
No, he's the perfect complement to Virgil. Because like Virgil's the main bad guy, but Arkham is like the thing that gets the plot going.
Yeah.
And Jester is so awesome. I love Jester. He was He was fucking great. All of
Devil May Cry 3 also has like maybe the most quotable dialogue in any game ever.
It's pretty quotable. It's like Revenge of the Sith levels of quotable.
Yeah. Honest to God, it is the Revenge of the Sith of video games. But like better.
It really is. Like, dude, when you get into like the very end of the game and you're fighting Arkham and Virgil shows up and Virgil has the line where he's like, "You don't want this fucking clown to be the final boss of the game, do you?"
Yeah.
And Dante's like, "Yeah." And then they team up and
great.
Like that's so good.
It's so good. And then fuck, what was it? I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, when Arkham finally like reveals his like master plan and he takes out fucking Lady Dante and Virgil at once, like fucking dude.
Yeah.
That cutscene is so sick. When he does like the Chun-Li spinning bird kick.
Yeah.
And fucking just swoops up all 3 of them.
And he fucking
cool.
Impales the leg of his daughter.
Yes. Also, 3 has like maybe my favorite like Easter egg fucking blink and you'll miss it thing ever, where I'm sure I know I've told you this before.
It's
but I don't know if
the numbers in the cutscenes.
Yeah, how many of those did you catch? Or were you looking for them?
I was looking for them after I think on mission 3 or something was the first time I noticed it.
The first couple missions are like really obvious.
Yeah. I definitely noticed it in the centipede fight. There's like a really obvious one. There's like numbers like engraved on the wall, I think.
Yeah.
And there's one part where Jester's like on this like thing that's like pulling him into the ceiling, and he's making a 12.
It's literally just the number.
Yeah. There's definitely a few more. I'm trying to think. I noticed a few I didn't notice all of them, but I noticed quite a few of them after I started looking for them.
That's cool. Yeah, I wish more games had fun like that. Where it's like, like the story is being told through a cutscene, so like you're not interacting whatsoever other than just paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
So like for them to add another layer to it, literally just for like, hey, look at that. It's cool that they did that.
Is 3 the only one that does that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless the other games are just so fucking well hidden. It's been 20 years and no one's fucking noticed. But no, 3's the only one that does that.
That is cool.
Yeah, it's cute. It gives it something. Which I gotta give props to Devil May Cry 2. It came up with the wall running and the shooting the guns while upside down.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know what it is about being in the air and like looking down, like having your hands like if you were being hung from your feet and just shooting guns while floating because you're shooting the guns. That's so cool.
It
dude.
is. It is really cool.
Um, and speaking of that with Gunslinger, I wish Gunslinger was. I wish it was more viable. Uh, because like every time I play through 3, it's just like I just want to do Trickster or Swordmaster.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to get the Switch version and play through the game with style switching.
Yeah, because
Um,
it's like Gunslinger's really cool.
Yeah,
Like I said, they have when you use the shotgun. There's like a shotgun stinger you can use and shit, and you can use the shotgun like nunchucks.
yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
throw
And
it through your fucking.
I did
arms
use
and
that
shit.
stuff a lot in 5.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is. It's so cool. Like 3 basically came up with all of the staples for Dante's gameplay in every game after it.
Yeah, that's. It is cool. Like Devil May Cry 3 was literally too cool, because after 3, like I mean, it's only 4 and 5, so it's not like a huge fucking thing. But after 3, Dante's whole character is just him from 3, him from 3,
Yeah,
him from 3.
yeah.
And it's like that's not a bad thing
Oh, no,
because he's one of
definitely
the
not.
coolest characters and one of the funnier characters in video games.
Yeah.
But it kind of sucks just a little bit because he doesn't really do anything new in 4 or 5. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they reinvented the wheel so hard in 3, or refined it so hard that like you just can't do anything else with him. He's already perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, three's just a master class of what a video game should be, dude.
Yeah, it really is. And we haven't even talked about like all the weapons.
What was your favorite weapon?
Oh,
in
definitely
3?
definitely the Cerberus nunchucks.
Yes, nice.
That's a
Well,
that's a top 3 weapon in the entire franchise for me.
yeah, that's fair. That's my favorite, but is it Magni and Modi? That's
Yes,
not it.
the twin blades.
Is that what
It's
it
not
is?
it's not Magni and Modi. That's the God of War guys.
Oh
But
yeah,
I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
it's somewhere
It's
around
I think
that
it's Magni
ballpark.
and Rudra or something.
Yeah, Rudra, that's it. Yeah, I really like that weapon a lot too. Like that weapon's stinger equivalent is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Where you just run forward and slash a bunch and shit.
To be fair, I didn't use it a lot because I was using the nunchucks a lot.
Uh-huh.
And you can only equip 2 weapons for style switching in that game, or weapon switching in that game.
Right.
But I did use it a bit, and it was pretty cool.
Whenever you just curious about the way you played it, whenever you were trying new weapons, did you always keep Rebellion
Yes.
equipped?
Yes.
Okay. You're lame.
I just
No.
really like having like a stinger available and like
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I'll be honest, the first time I played through 3, I also did that. But on repeat playthroughs where it's like, oh, I didn't use this that much in my first playthrough, I'll fucking do this. So for like the last time I played through 3, other than the playthrough at your place, because I don't really remember what I did there, I used the Magni and Rude, whatever you fucking said. I used that for like half the fucking playthrough, alongside whatever else I was fucking with.
mhm.
But
I
really like that weapon.
I think 3 might have the biggest roster of weapons.
It definitely does. It's also is 3 the only one where you can miss a like hand weapon?
A hand weapon maybe.
Because I'm trying to remember if there's a gun you can miss in 1.
Yes, in 1 I actually did miss the shotgun in 1, even though on my first playthrough
really?
of that game, I played like half of it before, and I did get the shotgun that time.
That's fucking
but
hilarious.
I don't know what I did. I guess I just walked right fucking past it.
That is awesome. I
There's
didn't even know
also
you could miss the shotgun.
yeah. I think you can miss a lot of the guns in those games because in 2 I missed
Yeah.
the I want to say it was like a grenade launcher or something in 2 that I missed.
Yeah.
I
I know there's a lot of guns you can miss in 3.
Yeah, I think I might have missed the rocket launcher in 3X. Or no, you can't miss the rocket. It was a sniper rifle.
You can miss the second rocket launcher.
There's a second rocket launcher?
Actually, I don't think... Is there in 3?
I missed the sniper rifle. Sniper rifle's the one that I missed.
Okay, maybe... No, you can miss the second one in 5. That's what it is.
Okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know there was a second one in 5 either.
Oh, really? Dude, you need to fucking replay 5 and get that and use Gunslinger. It's actually so much fun.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of things you can do with it where it's just called... Because at one point in the story, Lady just gives you the Kalina Ann 2 or whatever. And then it's in the mission where you play as Dante and you go through like the upside, like all the rubble basically and shit. You can find the actual Kalina Ann there.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Because Lady dropped it during all the chaos and shit. But whenever you can use them together and like, it basically just, if you're using it without Gunslinger, it basically just increases the rate of fire because you're shooting 1, 1, 1, 1 instead of having to like wait after every shot. But if you use Gunslinger, there's a lot of things where like you attach them together and like you can have like a laser beam come out of it and shit. It's
I think that
crazy.
I don't think you have to have both of them to do that. I think you just have to have the 2 because the 2 is
really?
the 2 is 2 separate things.
Oh, I guess that's true.
And you put them together.
Damn, you just ruined... Because my first playthrough of 5, I found the Kalina Ann immediate. Like, I'd never missed it. So, like, I just figured you needed it, both of them. That sucks. That doesn't suck, but, like, that's just, like...
I've ruined 5 for you.
Yeah, I'll never play it again as I'm playing it right now.
Let's talk about bosses in 3 because
Yes,
the bosses are probably the best in the series.
It's the best. Jester might be the best reoccurring boss.
Yes, I love Jester.
In a game.
He's great. In the later fights when he gets on the ball, it's kind of annoying. But other than that, it was awesome.
It kind of is, but like it feels like a very natural progression to what that boss fight should be.
Once you know what you're doing, it's definitely not that annoying. But
yeah, Cerberus is fucking awesome.
Cerberus is such a fucking cool like first actual boss fight.
That's something. Whatchamacallit? One also had with Phantom, where it's like, I feel like the first boss of both games perfectly encapsulate everything you're gonna encounter in the game.
Yeah.
And Cerberus more so than Phantom even. It's just a great it's a great roadblock where it's like, hey, if you can't beat this and I'll say just to be nice because I know some people aren't good at video games. If you can't beat this boss in like an hour, you're probably not going to like the rest of the game.
Yeah. But and 3 also introduced the boss weapon stuff. So when you kill him, you get the nunchucks, and it's like, okay, these are like, this is an actual boss weapon because it's like it's three nunchucks like the Cerberus 3 heads, and it's an ice weapon.
It's
I think
cool.
3 is like the only fucking game that does that too, where like the boss weapons actually like kind of relate to whatever boss you were. Except maybe even in 4, like some of the boss weapons didn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, some of them are a bit of a stretch in 4.
And definitely like DMC and DMC 5 don't really even try with the boss weapon. Except I guess DMC does have the Cerberus in that game. But I think that's
not necessarily true about 5.
Well, Cerberus and a Cavalier are like the only 2 boss weapons in the game, though, aren't they?
Yeah, but they make sense.
Yeah, but 3 has like 5, or maybe like 4 boss weapons in it, and they all make sense for the most part.
The thing about anytime you play as Nero, he just has the Red Queen, so like he doesn't fucking get boss weapons.
And to be fair with we'll get into that later when we talk about 5. Because that is something that I want to talk about.
Okay.
But let me see, 3. We're talking about bosses.
Yes.
So yeah, Cerberus is
other
fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I love Cerberus.
Other than Virgil 1, 2, and 3, what's your favorite boss in the game?
Honestly, it's either Beowulf or Cerberus.
That's fair. I'm saying Beowulf for mine.
It is a good fight.
That being said, as good as it is, it's my 4th favorite fight in the game. Because all 3 Virgil fights are like imagine if you fought Senator Armstrong 3 times in the game and like it only got better every time.
Yeah.
Like you can make the argument that the first Virgil fight's better than the second.
I honestly I think that the first and second ones are more fun than the third one, because the third one is like fucking brutal. Like he's like all in, and his devil trigger is insane
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. The third fight is seriously like it's up there, man, as far as toughest boss fights.
Yeah.
Like,
and
it's ridiculous.
Unfortunately, after 3, I did get through all the games without using items. Except I think I used a few healing items in DMC Devil May Cry, because they fucking don't give you any fucking green orbs in that game.
No, they fucking don't.
But in 3, I did use 1 healing item, and I think maybe 1 Devil Star during the last Virgil fight.
I understand. It was your first time.
Yeah.
It was your first time. I understand. It's like, no, I can't think of anything funny. I'm sorry.
But after 3, I got through all the games without using any gold orbs or anything.
That's good. I think, honestly, there's a pretty hard curve after. It's so weird because like the last 3 missions, give or take, 3 or 4 missions of 3 are like fucking hard, dude.
Yeah.
And then nothing is ever that hard again in the series.
Yeah.
There's a few missions in 4. There's a few enemies specifically in 4 that like are annoying.
Yes, absolutely.
But I don't think any of them are as difficult as the last few missions of 3.
Well, and we'll get there when we get there, because I have a lot to talk about with 4 also.
I'm very excited. 4 is the most controversial.
Oh, and I absolutely believe that.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Because at least with 2, it's like everyone is in unison. Like, hey, this is the worst fucking one.
I wouldn't be surprised if 4 was more controversial than DMC.
If DMC wasn't the last thing we had for like 6 years, 4 would definitely be. Because there was less of a gap between 4 and Reboot than there was between Reboot and 5, I think.
Yeah.
Because, well...
No, there definitely was. It definitely was bigger.
Not by much, though, because 4 came out in like 2008, I think.
Well, yeah, but DMC came out in like 2013, didn't it?
Yeah, it's only 5 years.
Oh, I forgot DMC 5 has been out for like 6 years now.
Yeah, it's because they waited like 2.5 or 3 years for Special Edition, damn near. Because 3 had to have come out in like early 2019 or 2018. Or not 3, I'm sorry, 5. I was like, why isn't he talking to me? I worked 11 hours today.
No, it's fair.
Relax.
It's fair.
So yeah, if it weren't for that time gap, like if Reboot came out in like 2015 instead, and then like 4 years later, 5 came out, like people would definitely talk about 4 more than Reboot.
Yeah,
but 4 is just controversial because not to get too deep into it just yet, because I want to talk about 3 a little more.
Yeah,
it's like you have a new main character. But then halfway through the game, you cut tail and run, and you fucking go back to your original. but you don't make it a new game. You just have them go back through all the same shit.
We'll get there.
It's crazy.
Back to 3 though. While most of the boss fights were amazing, there were a few that I did not like though. The centipede was really bad.
Yes.
I did not.
It's funny that, by the way, you call it the centipede. Literally, since I first laid eyes on Devil May Cry 3 like ages ago, I've always just called it a worm. Never even thought about it being a centipede.
That's funny.
Not once had that ever crossed my mind.
Isn't its name Centipede or something?
I never cared enough.
That's fair.
That boss sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. I didn't really like the Quicksilver horse that much.
That fight is done way better in 5.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I like the arena more in 3 though.
Yeah.
I like the setup to that fight.
And you might dislike me a little bit for saying this. I don't know. Is it the second half of the Arkham fight where Virgil shows up?
That's not what I thought you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna say you didn't like the doppel.
Oh, that one was like fucking whatever. It was super easy.
Yeah. No, it's pretty normal to dislike that Arkham fight.
Okay, good. But
that's a lukewarm take.
It's a top moment in the game when Virgil shows up, but when he shows up, you lose your Devil Trigger and your styles.
True.
And it makes the
you know a fucking fun fact though.
What?
If you have a second controller connected to your console,
I do know that.
Play as Virgil,
and that is so cool. I love when games introduce stuff like that.
Like literally for a 5-minute segment in the entire game, you can do that. It's so cool.
And that was before like Virgil was a playable character too, wasn't it?
Yeah, because he wasn't. They didn't have the extra playable characters on launch.
Yeah,
it's very cool though. I think you could do the same thing with the doppelganger.
I think you could actually. Now that you say it. I saw some. I looked up a little bit of stuff about 3 after I played it, and I think you might be right.
Yeah,
I obviously never tried it, but
yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to say about the bosses?
I think that's about it. I can't think of anything that was like you said, Doppelganger was like fucking whatever.
You said that.
What do you think about Doppelganger?
It's whatever. I did want to talk about though, Quicksilver and Doppelganger, how they wanted to, how they kind of were like, they thought the styles were like the future of the series. Like they wanted to really have like a roster of styles to choose from.
Yeah, that was interesting.
It's interesting. I wish that it worked a little better.
Yeah.
I part of me wishes that it did work better. Other part of me doesn't, because like Quicksilver, that just never really showed up again.
Yeah.
Doppelganger though, because of Reboot, became like a Virgil thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Which fucking is awesome because it just makes him a little more unique to Dante. And Doppelganger is like one of his coolest abilities he gets.
It is. It's like that's just his Devil Trigger in a 5.
Yeah. Or you mean Reboot?
Well, I'd never played the Virgil DLC in Reboot, so
that's fair.
Like I mean, like instead of getting like a regular Devil Trigger like Dante, he just has Doppelganger in 5.
No, he doesn't.
Does he have a normal Devil Trigger?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, but you don't get to swap them. Like it's just like you get Doppelganger and you get like the extra like the healing.
I'm pretty sure.
Or I guess he might have a Sin Devil Trigger.
Okay. Yeah. What? Yeah, his Sin Devil Trigger. That's like his regular thing.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. It's been a while since I played as Virgil. I'm not gonna.
You should have tried everything again, and
I should have spent 3 weeks on this like you did.
Yeah, you were too busy preparing for your fucking life-changing in quotation marks event at Combo Breaker.
in my new job. I had a very busy 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Um, no, I really I wish I did have more time to play.
No, you're definitely qualified to talk about these games,
Yeah,
though.
because between the 6 games, I have at least 200 hours in them.
Yeah.
I know I have at least like 80 in 5 alone, and it's a single player game.
I
It's
don't, I
definitely
don't
one of
blame you. I'll definitely
It's
be.
definitely one of my most played single player games.
Yeah.
It's like 5 and Hades. Those are like the two.
I'll definitely be going back to it every once in a while to try Bloody Palace and stuff and beat the Virgil campaign. Because I know that the Dante fight at the end of the Virgil campaign is like the best boss in the series.
No, you're mistaken.
Oh, really?
It is the hardest boss in the series.
Okay.
Yeah, you can argue it's definitely a top 5 boss.
Okay.
You can argue it's the best boss. If you ask me, I'm gonna say like Virgil 3.
Fair enough.
Really any of the Virgil fights in 1, because the problem with 5 is that it's just the boss fight. There's no like different story shit.
Yeah.
So it's literally only based on the merits of its gameplay.
Yeah.
There's just like no big story thing added to it.
It does look like a cool boss fight, though.
It's really cool, and whenever he starts using Royal Guard on your attacks, it's really fucking scary. But no, that fight is fucking hard, dude. I've only been it. It's the only boss, probably in the series, I've only beaten once, other than like the final bosses of 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Just because I haven't played those games as much. Yeah, that fight's tough. It definitely beats the fuck out of any of the fights in 3. Like even Virgil 3.
I guess I'll know when I get there.
Yeah. And what sucks too is that whenever you get to the end of Virgil's Bloody Palace, you have to fucking fight Dante in 5.
Nice.
So it's like you just spent like an hour and a half fucking going through like 100 and something floors, and now you just have to eat shit and fight the hardest boss in the series. Like, okay,
Awesome.
that sounds great.
Before we move on to 4, just one more thing I want to talk about with 3. The cutscenes are some of the best cutscenes in any game ever. The choreography, the writing, even the directing at certain points, like the camera angles and like shots and stuff.
Yeah,
so good.
it's amazing.
It's like a proper action movie made into a game.
You can tell immediately from mission 1 how good it is. Whenever like all the fucking enemies show up and they all use their scythes and stab Dante, and like he has one that stabbed like right through his forearm, and he's fucking running around the room, like skating on one of them, using it as a skateboard, using the blade he was stabbed with still in his arm to like slash them.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
That whole opening segment is so good. Like with Arkham coming in and like flipping the table.
Yeah. Yes.
Dante trying to get his fucking record machine to work.
Yeah.
It's so
this
good.
party's getting crazy.
Yeah,
fucking great.
all of the cutscenes were good.
Yeah.
Like it definitely helps 3 that like it has not only like up until that point definitely the best gameplay, but also like just on another level, like characters, cutscenes, writing. It was such a fucking like it was such an improvement from the other 2.
Yeah.
Like
Every aspect of the series up to that moment was dialed up not to 11 but to like 13.
I would say even like fucking 20. Like,
oh my god. Yeah, no, it for real is like leagues above every other game.
because DMC 1 Dante is cool, but like he's never doing any of the shit that DMC 3 Dante does.
No, he's just chilling. Which is funny if you think about the timeline of everything, because like he's right back to doing that shit in 4.
Yeah.
So it's like I guess he was just like down in the dumps during 1 and 2.
I like to pretend that 2 doesn't exist.
That's fair. So does everyone else.
It doesn't really
including
add
the
anything
game
to the story,
directors.
you can tell, because in the history of Devil May Cry thing, it's like one sentence.
Yeah, it's like he had a coin. He got rid of it, and then it like talks about 4.
It's like literally the line for Devil May Cry 2 in that thing is like, but even some demons rose up in this time of whatever, and then it moves straight on to 4.
Yeah,
Like they don't
It's
even talk
fucking-
about how you got like trapped in hell or anything.
it's great. Yeah, you literally cannot sing the praises of 3 enough.
No, right after I played it, I went on my best games of all time list, and let me see where I put it. This is high praise. It's at 19 on my best games of all time list.
Wow, that's high praise for you.
Yeah.
You for reference, you know what 19 is on my list?
What?
Dark Souls 1.
Nice.
Devil May Cry 3 is currently my 5th favorite game of all time.
All right, that's completely fair. I play a lot more types of games than you, though.
Yeah,
So I think that anything within top 20 is pretty high praise for me.
absolutely it is. Like fucking just to put it into perspective, God of War 1 is 49 on my list. So like I
Okay.
don't play that many games.
Yeah.
But yeah, 3, man, it's just God. It is the stuff dreams are made of.
Yeah, there's a few parts in the game that, like, I was dreading playing the game, like, once or twice,
Yeah.
like, throughout it, but, like,
There's definitely a few missions that just kind of suck.
yeah.
But the thing about it is that, unlike, the last 2 games where it's like, oh, this mission, I don't really think there's a lot of missions in 1 that suck. But in the first 2 games, when a mission sucked, you're just like, oh, I gotta get through this.
Yeah.
At least in 3, it's like I have these styles and I have all these cool
Yeah,
weapons.
the core gameplay of 3 is just on such a higher level than the other 2
Yeah.
games that, like, even when you're in a level that kind of sucks, it's like, I can do all of these combos, I can switch weapons and do this, I can use all these crazy, like,
Yeah.
firearms.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's like the jump from DMC 1 and 2 to 3 is like if fucking Street Fighter only had the very first edition of 2 and then Ultra Street Fighter 4 came out. And it's like, oh my god, this is awesome. You go from 8 characters to like 40 something. It's like fucking crazy.
DMC3 is also the first one where it feels like you're actually being stylish when you're
Yeah.
taking out enemies, because like you can do
No, for sure.
you can do awesome stuff in that game. And one,
Yeah.
like at a certain point in 1, you're kind of just using the grenade launcher and like either Ifrit or Rebellion, because there's not that many combos in 1.
No, there's not.
And I think that the way they handle the style meter and stuff in those games is very different than how it's handled in 3 onward.
Oh, for sure. And then 3 introduced a taunting.
Yes.
So fucking cool.
Yes. It's definitely one of the I mean, 3 just added a lot of good shit, but it's a staple of the series now.
Yeah. While we're on the topic of taunting, me and Josh had this discussion like maybe 2 weeks ago or something. What do you have a favorite taunt in the series?
Honestly, I haven't used it enough to like know the taunts like individually.
What?
Yeah, because they change like based on your style rating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean Nero has the like drop kick, so I mean that's probably
that's my favorite.
yeah, it's pretty good.
It's fucking great. It's my favorites are that. Dante has the one where he, like, if you're in the air, he throws the rose and it juggles the enemy.
Yeah, that is cool.
Josh said his favorite is Nero's, where he pretends he's like on a film crew and he's like, keep the camera rolling, baby, or whatever he says, and it's fucking great. I also like in 5 his taunt where he puts the hood up, because
Yeah.
it stays on until you hit again.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm guilty of forgetting to use the taunt. So I didn't use it as much as I probably should have.
She. You're gonna replay 3, 4, and 5.
I am. I
I'm
don't know
gonna
about
put a gun to your
4.
head.
I don't know about
I'm gonna
4.
put a gun to your head and make you do this. I also just thought of another taunt that's really cool too, where Nero puts his sword on like he stabs the ground and he like
And revs it up.
he revs it up and it actually counts towards revving it up.
That one's cool.
That's fucking great.
Anything
Anything that actually affects gameplay is awesome.
We're the same person. I was about to say exactly the same thing you just said.
That's why the dropkick's my favorite, because you start running and you fucking press the taunt button and fucking double boot an enemy.
It's great. One more thing before we talk about 4.
One more thing.
Boss rushes are a staple of this franchise for some fucking reason. 3 definitely has one of the better ones, though, because you don't have to fight every boss.
It has the best one.
Yes, well, I think 5 might have the best boss rush, in my opinion, just because of how it's handled.
On the V mission?
Yeah, just because of how it's handled, because you can,
You're wrong.
I mean, that's fair. But
no, you're entitled to your opinion.
3 is...
I do like that. That's the best V mission in the game, if you ask me.
Yeah, it definitely is.
It's the only one where I felt like I was like making choices.
Yeah, but 3, the boss rush in 3 is really cool because it's kind of strategic because you have to choose which ones you want to fight, and there's this like map that's on the screen where it has all the different bosses like in crystals on each of them, and you have to like map out a circle. Like you have to make the lines connect.
Yeah.
So in reality, you could fight like 3 of them and complete it if you did the right ones.
Yeah, but they're like really hard bosses.
Yeah. Or if you... I didn't know what I was doing at first, so I fought like maybe like 6 of them, I think. Which the gameplay in 3 is just so fun that like it doesn't matter. Like I'll fight those bosses again. There were a few that I avoided fighting again because I didn't want to fight them again.
Yeah.
But I think that in terms of boss rushes, 3 definitely handles it much better than most of the other games do.
I'd say it handles it better than most video games do.
Yeah, well, boss rushes just kind of suck in general. At least in like a campaign sense, like where you have to do it before you beat the game. Like we'll get into 4, but we'll get into it with 4, but 4 is egregious.
While we're on the topic of these stylish games, Revengeance also has a weird boss rush.
I honestly don't even fucking remember.
It's in like the latter half of the game, and like you're in a room that I can't remember if it's like if it has gas in it or what, but you're fighting like simulations of like 3 or 4 bosses in a row.
Yeah, okay. How funny is it that the boss rushes kind of just got worse as they went along in the franchise, except for 5? Because in 1, like, I don't think there was... Like, Nightmare 3 was, like, the closest you got to a boss rush. Because, like, you had to fight, like, someone if you got ate by the goop.
Yeah. Which fucking sucks, by the way.
Yeah.
It's fucking brutal in 1.
Yeah.
Because Nightmare is already a hard fight if you don't really know what you're...
Yes, he is. But in... and then 2 is, like, Argosax is, like, all the bosses, like, amalgamized.
Yeah.
Which is a cool idea, but it's really lame in practice.
Yeah.
And then 3 has an actual boss rush, but it does it, like, good.
Mm-hmm.
And then 4 has an awful boss rush.
It's terrible.
Yeah, and I think... I think DMC actually didn't have a boss rush, and that was one of the, like, good things I had to say about that game.
Yeah, I don't remember that game. There at least wouldn't... The bosses in that game are so unique to the zone they're in. Well, maybe not necessarily, but like the context of fighting the bosses in Reboot are so unique compared to the next boss that you fight. So like a boss rush in that game wouldn't make too much sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
I'm fucking glad there wasn't one.
So. Yes, absolutely. Because that is actually my least favorite thing about the franchise, that there's always a boss rush.
Yeah,
because it's always the worst part of the game.
that's true.
Well, are you ready to talk about 4?
Let's talk about 4.
All right. So let me get out my notes for 4.
You have a whole separate notebook just for 4.
I think 4 might be my longest set of notes.
I would imagine it is. Like I said, it's
no,
no.
DMC Devil May Cry is my biggest one.
Okay. What did you overall think of 4?
So
Coming off the back of 3.
Yes, coming off the back of 3. When I first started 4, I was thinking, holy shit, it's just 5, and this is great.
Yeah.
Because Nero is such a good character, like gameplay wise, and
the intro to 4 is probably actually my favorite intro in the game.
I wouldn't
like when Dante comes in through the roof. When I say intro, I mean from when you click start on the main menu to when
gameplay
Dante
starts.
Leaves. No, I when Dante leaves. Basically,
Okay.
mission 1.
Okay.
Like that's what it is my favorite mission 1 in the series because the whole thing with Dante coming in and just shooting the Pope immediately, and then your whole fight with him and Nero. It's like that might be like the coolest. Like I don't even like introduction of 2 characters interacting in a video game.
It's pretty cool.
That fight is so sick.
I don't think it's the best intro to any of the games because
3 exists.
yeah, 3 has a really good intro, and I really like the intro to 5 actually. 5 has a really good, and if you count like the prologue and everything up until like the actual title crawl.
Yeah, it is really good.
But no, it is definitely. I did really like the beginning of 4. In fact, I really liked 4 up until I think like mission 10.
What mission is that?
That's the one where you. It's the last mission you play as Nero until the end of the game.
Oh yeah.
Which
I forgot the game split right down the middle.
yeah.
Like literally.
Let me take a quick peek at my notes because I can get to this stuff later. My biggest gripe with 4 was that the first half of it was just a solid Devil May Cry game. And then as soon as you switch to Dante, like I really enjoyed the first few missions as Dante because Dante's just a really fun character. He has the style switching. He's got you start I think with the shotgun and the ebony and ivory.
Yeah.
And rebellion. You might have
every game after 3 you start with the shotgun. Well, I mean every game. I keep saying every game like it's not just 4 and 5.
Yeah.
But you start with the shotgun in both those games.
Mm-hmm. And you get access to all of your styles right off the bat. And he's a really fun character.
Yeah.
The problem is that the game makes you play through the entire game again in reverse.
Yeah.
And it's really annoying because you even have to fight the same bosses again. And it's like it's really annoying when you start out because you just fought that boss like 2 missions ago.
Right.
I don't remember which. I think it's the frog thing. Maybe that's the first one.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. And I remember I told you that was one of my favorite bosses in the game. That being said, fighting him 2 and even 3 times because there's a boss rush in this game is really fucking annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And so yeah, the Dante stuff started grinding on me after a while. After the point where I realized like, okay, like I'm just gonna have to fight all these bosses again.
Right.
I accepted it and I was like, okay, I'm still having like a decent amount of fun. Then the last 3 levels of the game happened, and they were the worst 3 levels in any Devil May Cry game. They were awful. No. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
So I think that the third to last level is the Savior boss fight. And that boss fight is garbage. It sucks. It's terrible.
It's terrible.
It's so slow. You can hardly do any damage. And you just jump around between platforms. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
But whatever, one bad mission. Then I get to the next mission, and it's a fucking boss rush. But it's not just any boss rush. You have to fight every boss in the game again, except like the Angelo boss fights.
And you've already fought them all twice.
Yes. That is, like, I was so... like, my mouth gaped open when I realized I had to fight all these bosses a third time. Like, why is this game fucking doing this?
Yeah.
And it's doing it on the backdrop of this stupid dice minigame that they came up with, which would have been fun, maybe, but you can just smack the dice whenever it shows up the number you want, and it just does that number. So it trivializes the entire minigame, and it's just really annoying because you're just waiting for that number to pop up on the dice, and then you get to the end, and you fight the fucking boss that you just fought with Dante, that you already fought with Nero, and it's so fucking annoying. That mission is probably my least favorite mission in the entire franchise. It sucks. It's terrible.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Like, what's your least favorite mission in the franchise?
That's tough. I feel like there's missions in 2 and 3 that I like less, but they're probably way shorter than that one.
There's definitely no mission in 3 that I like less.
I could literally play 3 10 more times and I would still get lost in some levels.
That's fair.
That's my problem, is that I get lost and feel like a fucking idiot.
That's fair.
But as far as, like, if I didn't get lost, yeah, that's probably my least favorite.
And then the last mission of the game is the fight with the Pope. I forget his name. Sanctus or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
And it's the same fight that you already did with Nero in Mission 10.
Yeah.
But now he has a bullshit move where once you get him down to, like, fucking, like, half health or something, he just pulls out this, like, fucking dumbass, like, I'm gonna hit you, like, 50 times move.
Yeah.
And if it's your first time fighting him, you're guaranteed to die to it, like, because you don't know it's coming.
Right.
And that pissed me off so fucking much.
It's fucking great.
Yeah. And then the final, like, the actual final gameplay segment is a puzzle thing for some reason.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you have to, like, dodge his... No, you have to, like, parry his attacks with the arm, even though you've, like... I don't think that parrying with the arm was ever, like, a thing you were doing earlier on in the game.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, so I don't know how they expected you to know what to do there. So that was really annoying.
Yeah.
I guess, like, if you just stood there and got hit enough, you would probably figure out what to do in, like, 10 minutes.
Right.
But, like, if you're gonna end your game in, like, this badass, bombastic way, like, this was not the way to do it. It should have just been, like, a cutscene or something, or just, you should have made it, like, easier to comprehend what was happening. Because, like, it's not hard, because it's not an actual boss fight. It's just, you have to press the certain buttons when you're supposed to press them, and you're supposed to know to do it, even though you've never done it before.
Right.
It's annoying.
You know, I just had a thought, not to get too off topic, but something 4 does worse than the other games that do this. You know how when you beat the game and, like, there's a little gameplay segment, like, watching the credits?
Yeah.
4's is the worst.
It is.
Like, by a lot.
Yeah. Another thing that 4 did that I absolutely abhor, they decided to switch the way that skills work. And instead of just having it revolve around red orbs, which was perfect, like, it worked in every game, even 2, it worked in 2. It worked in every game it was in. And they come up with this fucking Proud Souls bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you. This was so fucking annoying Because, like, you don't get proud souls for anything other than completing a mission. Like, you don't get it, like, during gameplay. You don't get it during, like, killing enemies, anything.
No.
And you don't get very much of them either.
No.
So I caved in, like, towards when I started getting annoyed at the game during the Dante segments, I caved in and I used the, like, 200,000 it gave you for having the special edition. Because,
funny.
like, it's just so fucking annoying. Like, I want to spend my red orbs on stuff, but you fucking made the red orbs all items which I'm supposed to not be using, because, like, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
So that really pissed me off.
Too, because it's like, in the other games, if there's a fucking... Like, if you want to... Like, in 3, for instance, if I want to save up and get a fucking... Like, air hike early, I'll just fight Cerberus, like, 3 times. And then I have it. In fucking... in 4, it's like, the thought of replaying a whole level in 4 where they're long they are in the other games. It's like, you just get fucked.
Yes.
Like, I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah, it was so annoying.
It's terrible.
Like, even in DMC, it's still different. Like, the XP is different from, like, your orbs and stuff.
Right.
But at least in that game, you get experience from killing enemies. And it's better in DMC Devil May Cry than it is in 4.
I unfortunately have to agree.
And it's really sad because I really enjoy 4. Nero is the best thing they did to the franchise since 3.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, I played Devil May Cry 5. I beat Devil May Cry 5 a while ago, and I liked that game. I love it now, but I liked that game when I played it. I never replayed it, so I didn't use, like, the Devil Bringer at all or anything.
Oh, yeah.
The Devil Bringer is so cool. Like, it is such a cool mechanic.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Just being able to, like, grab people, in
Snatch.
you could probably do it a lot before, and I don't remember if, like, the first time I noticed it was during the, Credo Angelo fight. You can, like, grab his, like, projectile attacks and throw them back at him.
Yes.
It's such a cool idea.
There's a lot of, like, unique shit like that you can do with the Devil Bringer.
Yeah, and even, like, just being able to, like, grab people and bring them closer to you was such a cool feature. So cool, even, that they gave Dante that feature in DMC because they knew it was such a good feature.
Yeah. That's what's cool about this series as a whole, is that even in the back end, like earlier when I said Devil May Cry 2, you know, it came up with the shooting the guns while in the air upside down and shit.
Yeah.
Even from, like, the darkest, deepest, stinkiest pits of this series, it'll take the one fucking corn out of the shit and add it to the beautiful stew of the next game. Like, this series builds upon itself so well. Like, if it weren't for 3, you could say that every game gets better than the last. Like, by a decent margin.
Yeah.
And if not for Reboot also. But I guess that's a good question. I'm sure I know the answer, but do you like 4 or Reboot?
I like 4 more.
From a gameplay perspective, do you like 4 or Reboot more?
I like the first half of 4 more than Reboot. Honestly, Reboot is really fun. Like, just with all the different weapons and, like, the way that the weapons work in that game is fun.
Yeah, it is. So you see where I was coming from.
Yes,
before.
yes, I do.
Yeah.
I still don't think that game has enough going for it where the gameplay is enough to make it better than 4.
I agree.
Because 4 has, like, you get to play as Nero, you get Dante, and Dante's, like, at his full potential, like, at that point in the games. Yeah. That's another thing I fucking have a problem with him for. Dante's weapon roster fucking sucks. Like, it's the worst. It's the worst it's ever been.
It fucking blows.
Which is sad because he has his full-on weapon switching and style switching, so it's a little bit sad that there's no like good returning weapons.
Yeah.
Like other than like the shotgun and stuff, like, which I don't really classify the guns as weapons.
Sure.
But like, yeah, you get like 2 other devil arms, I think, and they both suck.
Yeah.
And like even the new guns, like I don't really like Pandora is kind of cool idea, but it's not
a cool idea.
Yeah, it's not utilized very well.
Yeah. That's something else this series is fucking just absolutely riddled with, is like cool idea, like good recipe, didn't cook it right. You know, whole lot of that going on in every single game except 3 and 5 probably.
Yeah.
No,
it's. I mean, I can understand why his roster was toned down because Nero's a full other playable character,
right?
And clearly, like Nero's really the main character
stuff
of that game. So you can tell that they were focusing more so on him than like improving Dante.
Right. That being said, the whole style switching thing.
Yes.
That as an idea is such a like. It's such a small change, but it jumps it so high.
It's the next logical progression for the franchise.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But it's just such a simple yet innovative change that completely changes him forever.
Yes. Absolutely.
Because like it's so funny because like a cool combo in 3. Like I said, I haven't played Switch, so I don't know how combos look when you're like fully optimized playing the game in the new version. But if you're playing classic Devil May Cry 3, a cool combo in that, it's cool, but then you go look at a cool combo in 5, or even 4, and it's like, Dante's doing fucking launchers with, he's doing a combo with one weapon on the ground, switches weapons, does a launcher with that, does like an air trick to go straight to the enemy, does a taunt to launch the enemy.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. It's so cool.
I definitely respect 4 for what it did for the franchise, with like including Nero as a new character, with the style switching, and like the story like builds right up into 5 pretty much.
Right.
Which I don't think the story in 4 is like that good. It's
not.
It's all right in parts.
Right.
I like Nero's whole thing going on, where like he's just trying to like he likes this girl that's like Credo's sister, and she just like pretty much by chance gets kidnapped like halfway through the game.
Right.
And I think that the like Dante at first, like when he first sees Nero, he can pretty much tell like right away that like, okay, you're like somehow related to Virgil. Right. And he's like watching him, following him around, and he wants the Yamato back. Which is another cool thing, how they implemented the Yamato to Nero with his devil trigger and stuff.
It's super fucking cool. Honestly, Nero's devil trigger, or like, you know, whatever, where like the spirit's coming out and it has Yamato and shit, like that's like maybe the coolest designed thing in any of the games.
It is cool. Nero,
I mean,
has
like from a pure from a pure visual standpoint, that's like one of the coolest designed things.
Yeah, Nero in general is just like cool, having this like, he's got like this like thing coming out of his back that has like these huge arms. Like in 5 it looks really cool because they have like wings on them, and they kind of like drape over his shoulders when he's not using them like a cape. Yeah,
it's super fucking cool.
It's really cool.
I really like his character a lot in 4 too, because it's like it's basically Dante from 3, but it's like, hey, what if he was like a little less stylish and more of kind of like a dickhead?
Yeah.
That's it. It's basically like, what if Virgil wasn't like weird about like getting stronger?
Yeah.
It's like, that's if Dante and Virgil grew up the same way, Nero in 4 is exactly what Virgil would have.
Yet
probably.
Nero has like Dante's heart and spirit, but he's like
Yeah.
less experienced.
Yeah,
And
pretty
that makes
much.
him more like relatable as a character, I think.
He's
'Cause he-
definitely the most relatable character in the
Yeah,
series.
because he's kind of just a dude, but he just
Yeah.
happens to have an arm that's like weird.
Right. It's really cool. Um, while we've been on the topic of Nero, I have a very serious question to ask you.
Okay.
Do you prefer his haircut in 4 or 5?
See, here's the thing. 5 was the first game I played, so I'm used to it.
That's fair.
Because I think in 4 I think looks cooler, but he just kind of looks like Dante in 4.
Yeah,
I think in 5 he looks more like his own character.
I definitely agree with that. But I think, like you also said, 4 it just looks cooler.
Yeah. I
Like,
also
mean, it's just a great design.
this is just my opinion, but I also think that the Devil Breakers look cooler than the Devil Arm.
That's,
Like just like not while he's using them, but like just like his Devil Arm kind of looks weird.
yeah, it
like-
does.
I think that the robot
does.
arm like just the overture like looks really fucking cool.
4 is definitely the game where they doubled down the most on devils looking like bugs.
Yeah.
But no, the Devil Bringers are. We'll get into a whole fucking thing about that.
Oh
in
yeah,
5.
definitely.
But-
One thing I wanted to ask you about in 4, have you done much of the extra content in that game, like the Virgil stuff and like the Trish and Lady stuff?
I don't know. I don't think I beat any of those, but I have definitely played as all the characters. It has probably been like 7 or 8 years.
Okay. Would you say that they're are they like good? Like, would you
I think
recommend
they're
checking them
fun.
out? Okay.
They're fun, yeah. There was a lot of before 5 came or but yeah, before 5 came out, there was a lot of people that were wanting like a Trish and Lady standalone.
Okay.
Which honestly, like I'd even with 5 being out, I'd be super down for that because like they're not playable at all in 5, obviously.
Yeah.
But no, they're both cool. Trish more so than Lady, just because Lady's the gun character,
Yeah.
and Trish has Sparta, so you know.
4
and
was the only
Virgil-
one that I didn't really fuck around with any of the side stuff. And
That's
I guess
'cause there's
DMC.
a fucking lot of it.
Yeah. And also when I beat 4, I was just ready to be done with it, honestly.
Oh, 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you. No, they're fun though. I mean, like, if you ever find yourself, kind of just a little bored,
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out at some point.
yeah. I still stand by the most fun character is Virgil in 5. Not necessarily in general, but like as far as the extra characters go.
Yeah.
He's just perfect.
He has
Really
the most
perfect
going
moveset.
for him.
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about in 4?
There's probably quite a few things. Let me see. How do you feel about the whole like order guys? Like, I thought they were kind of lame for the most part.
I probably think they're less lame than you, but I also have an appreciation for the order because 4 is the only game that has like a group of villains instead of just one fucking dude.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'll give 4 credit for that because it wasn't like I feel like a lot of the games are just trying to rehash the same villain. Like
Yeah.
whenever in Devil May Cry 2, it's like the villain's his own thing and he's like he gameplay wise compared to Mundus, but it's like it's just a powerful like demon.
Yeah.
And then 3 is obviously its own thing. But 4 has the whole order. and then reboot it's just Mundus,
Mm-hmm.
and then in 5 it's just Virgil again. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, the Order is technically the most unique villain in the whole series. Or
Yeah.
antagonistic force, whatever you want to fucking call it.
If it didn't just evolve into the savior, I would agree with you.
Yeah, if instead of the savior, like fucking the Pope turned into like some fucking ultra demon, and it was like a fight on par or similar to like a Virgil fight in 3 or something,
Yeah.
instead of this giant weird thing.
Or even like Urizen or something.
Yeah, anything less platformy,
Yeah.
and like just they went full spectacle at the end,
Yeah.
which makes sense because, you know, it was like that's what a lot of games were doing around the time, where it's like just have huge final bosses
Yeah.
like that and shit.
I did think, at least story wise, Agnes was a standout for me. I kind of liked him. He was kind of funny.
Yeah,
His lisp just
It's-
kind of added to his character.
it is fucking great. Him whenever him and enter, it's great.
Yeah, and like the whole like boss fight, like the cutscene before the boss fight with him and Dante is great too.
And then like I said earlier, you know, the games build off each other so well. They're like, oh, people like this character. His daughter's in 5
Yeah,
as a good guy.
and that was something I obviously never thought about that in when I first played 5 because I hadn't played 4 before.
Right.
So that was cool after playing all of the other games and going to 5.
Yeah, and that's a cool thing too about 5. Like, I feel like the general theme of 5 is it's like, hey, you know, even if your parent is a piece of shit, like they're still your parents. So like you're a part of them.
Yeah,
Like it's kind of a cool theme because like not a lot of games do that. You know, like for instance like God of War or like The Last of. It's like you always play this parental role. You're never in the kid's perspective. So like the fact that 5 has that theme of like, hey, you know, they're family still. So like just fucking accept that.
the
Like, it's
original God of
cool.
War kind of has that, but it's more so like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, Dad. Like,
Yeah, it's not so like happy
yeah.
or like meaningful. But
One more thing I want to talk about with 4. To add to the skill buying and like the Proud Souls bullshit.
yeah.
When you thought it couldn't get any worse, and I can't fathom why they did this. So, when was the last time you played 4? Do you even remember like the way that you buy skills when you buy them? The price like scales with each one you buy.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I played a few missions like the other day.
Okay. It's really fucking annoying because like the way they want you to do it is like, okay, you can try new stuff and like refund your points. Like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then
Kind of.
yeah, kind of. And then you get to Dante. And you realize your points don't carry over or anything. Like, you just have to, like, they automatically, they don't even ask you if you want to, they automatically refund you all of your Nero points for Dante.
Yeah, that fucking blows.
Yeah, so then the next time you play as Nero, you have to, like, fucking reallocate everything. Like, anytime you want to play as anyone, I honestly can't believe people played this game without the extra Proud Souls. Because, like, 1, you wouldn't have fucking barely anything. And 2,
Right.
you'd have to fucking, like, redo everything every time you wanted to switch characters. It's so fucking annoying.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking terrible.
Like,
It's like a...
that's honestly, like, the worst change they've probably ever done in the other than, like, 2's combat. Like, it's awful.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. It's, I feel like 2's combat's, like, on another level
Yeah.
for, like, egregious changes. But,
Yeah,
like,
that one is pretty bad.
4's whole currency is pretty terrible. But
Yeah.
it's cool because it's not cool. But in 5, they really learned that because obviously there's no Proud Soul currency in 5. And also, since you're playing as 3 fucking characters, all their like main things are dirt fucking cheap.
Yes.
So they really want you to have as much shit as
And
possible as fast as possible in
and
5.
obviously I didn't play this game when it came out. I have a sneaking suspicion that the reason it was like that was because they wanted you to pay for Proud Souls.
I don't think you could until Special Edition came out.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it
Also,
feels like it was designed to make you want to pay for it.
We gotta keep in mind it was 2008.
I guess so, but like, I'm
So,
sure
like,
that the Xbox was
hey-
already pushing shit like that though at that point though.
I don't know, dude, because like, I think, what was it? Let me check actually really quick. I don't want to be mistaken. I'm pretty sure. I think 2007 was like when paid DLC became like a thing. So like maybe, but I don't know.
I don't know. I would totally believe it because they hardly give you fucking any of it.
Maybe. That's I don't know. I just don't know.
At first, when I booted up the game, I was like, "Oh, that's annoying. I've just got like 200,000 fucking things in there. I wanted to like upgrade this stuff naturally." And then I got like halfway through the game, and I was like, "Okay, this sucks. I guess I'll use it.
Yeah.
I would like to have fun."
I only made it to level 24 on the Bloody Palace. I've had it paused this whole time because we started actually talking.
Yeah.
But it's funny we're talking about current. Looking at my screen while on the pause screen, I have 1.6 million red orbs and there's nothing I can fucking do with them.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
You could buy gold orbs.
I could. And then I would never use them.
You could infinitely revive yourself.
Speaking of gold orbs, 5 does a really weird thing, which I'll give them credit. Like, it's cool for like new players. Like I said earlier, not everyone's good at video games. They have that login bonus where every day when you log in, you get a free gold orb.
Yeah.
It's like, that's super weird, but like, I guess it's cool if like a 7-year-old is playing the game on the hardest difficulty for some fucking reason, and it's like they don't have any red orbs to buy gold orbs.
Yeah.
It's neat, I guess. But it is they've done a couple weird things with shit like that in the series, like that.
That feels like a modern Capcom thing because like Monster Hunter does that also.
What, with login bonuses?
Yeah.
It makes more sense in Monster Hunter though, because it's like a Destiny level grind game, you know.
Kind of, yeah.
Where it's like there's innately no content in the game necessarily. You just like, well, that's not the right way to.
Monster Hunter is a little bit more like a video gamey than Destiny because like Monster Hunter is like a full price game that you pay for, and like
well, Destiny
part of the game is like preparing your stuff and like making your own potions and like buying your own potions and stuff.
Right. I mean, that's what Destiny is, like making your own weapons and doing all that shit.
Well, but Destiny is like a free to play like fucking Diablo
It only became
shooter.
free to play whenever PlayStation bought into it.
I guess so.
But no, it's just, those. I don't even remember why the fuck we're talking. Oh yeah, Capcom stuff. I don't even want to get on that fucking tangent about those types of games. Fuck those types of games. But no, you're right. Modern Capcom's just gotten way worse over the years with like paid extra stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking ridiculous. They've gotten a lot of backlash during Street Fighter 6 because of all the bullshit there. But that we're not going to get into that whole basket. So they do the currency a lot better in 5 than 4 because it's just back to normal.
Yeah, and I'm so happy about that. It works so much better in 5.
It definitely does. Yeah. 5 definitely has the best, in my opinion, like, uh, what's the word? Like
Skill
gameplay
shot.
progression or skill progression, where it's like I said, all the main things you want are dirt cheap. There's no weird extra like level up system. Uh, and then even styles, it's like you don't need to use the style to level it up,
Yeah.
you know? Because that's what sucks about 3 is that it's like if you want to like get air trick with Trickster, it's like you have to use Trickster a shit ton,
Yeah,
you
it does.
know?
It especially feels kind of weird in that game because, like, up until then, like, you didn't really get XP for anything. You just spent red orbs on everything.
Yeah,
So that was kind of weird that you had to actually use them to level them up.
right. And because of that, I feel like people use the like weirder ones way less even more than
Yes,
they would have.
definitely. Like, you were
Because
you
like
were unincentivized to use anything other than the ones you would use the most.
exactly, because you want to level them up. Especially shit with like Swordmaster, where it's like, oh, I'm missing out on half the weapons like movesets. I guess I'll just keep using that until I unlock everything.
Yeah.
So like it's or people that want better like defensive options. It's like, oh, I can do trick twice if I keep using this. I'll just keep using this. Like, there's 5 just does it best with the shop.
Yeah, definitely. Well, are we done talking about 4? Do you have anything you wanted to add?
I think we've been done talking about 4. No, I don't think there's anything I want to add.
All right. Well, do you want to talk about the greatest game of all time, DMC Devil May Cry?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let me see
So-
where that's ranked on my top 50 real quick, since you made the joke that it's the greatest of all time.
I can tell you where it's at on mine.
Where is it?
It is number 60 on my top 100. Which, to be fair, I only have 66 entries on there so far. So
Sure. It is number 25 on mine.
really, okay.
Yeah, like I said, I don't play a lot of games, so like if I like the gameplay of a game, it's gonna be pretty high.
Yeah. Let me clarify where it's at on my list. It is in between Devil May Cry 1 and Devil May Cry 4. Devil May Cry 4 being in front of it and Devil May Cry 1 being behind it.
Okay, Devil May Cry 4 is 2 spots ahead of it on my list. In between 4 and Reboot, Resident Evil 8 at 24.
Nice.
And then 26 behind it is Pokemon Black 2. So,
Awesome.
yeah. Reboot is a fun game, man. It's fun.
It's fun. It
That's
has
all I'll say.
It has some pretty frustrating, or not even frustrating. The levels are like fucking whatever.
The levels are very whatever.
The core gameplay holds it together though, for the most part.
Now, Josh's biggest gripe about the game is the color coordination. Like, when there's certain enemies, you need to use certain weapons.
See, I don't get that because they only introduced that like in the last like 5 missions of the game.
Right. That's what I'm. Yeah.
So,
It's not bad.
yeah, I've heard you say that people complain about that a lot before. Like, I didn't even fucking like think about it at all.
Now I'll admit it does get a little annoying because it happens a lot in the Bloody Palace in that game.
Okay, see, I didn't even fuck with the Bloody Palace.
It uses it a lot. Now, if you didn't fuck with the Bloody Palace, I'm sure you didn't fuck with the like extra game settings. That game has a turbo mode. Did you ever
Don't they
see
all
that?
have turbo modes?
do they?
I know that at least 5 and 4 do.
Am I retarded?
I think you are.
5 has a turbo mode?
Yeah. A lot of people only play it with turbo.
I'm retarded.
At least I'm maybe I'm retarded. I don't know because I watched a lot of videos. Maybe it's like a mod or something. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that it's like a series stable after like 4 or something.
Oh, you know what it is? I think they do that in the special editions of the games.
That's what it is.
Because I remember,
because 3 has one too.
I remember them saying something about that in the 5 special edition trailer.
Okay.
But like I said, the game, the one I played the most is Launch 5, so it didn't have that. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, I am retarded. I like the that's the only game I use the turbo in though, because I feel like that game kind of needs it sometimes.
I honestly can't believe you've played the game enough to have like played the turbo mode and stuff.
No, like for real, that game is a lot of fun to me.
It's a little bit of fun to me.
Yeah. I'd say on a pure level scale of how fun the games are, it goes 5, 3, 4, reboot, 1, 2.
That's fair. See, that's about where I'm at, but it's just like the gap between like 3 and 4 is like so big in my opinion.
No. I completely agree. I think there's like pockets of the series that there's pairs. 3 and 5 are clearly the smoothest, most well-played games. 4 and reboot, like, I could go either way with those games.
Yeah.
As far as the gameplay of it. Obviously, they both have their strengths and weaknesses. I think, even though it's not strong, Dante's weapons in Reboot are a lot more fun than Dante's weapons in 4.
Oh, absolutely. Dante's loadout in 4 fucking sucks cock.
It's abysmal. And then 1 and 2 are like your classic, like, more classic type video games. Where it's not so much style-based, like you said earlier.
Whereas in 2, it's just a bad game.
Right. What is your favorite weapon from Reboot?
Definitely the I forget what it's called, but the scythe thing that gives you the shredder.
Yeah.
Because I really like the shredder in all the games. It was one of my favorite moves to do in like 4 and 5.
Right.
It's just a lot of fun propping enemies up in the air and then like hitting them on the way down and just holding them there.
Yeah.
But on top of that, the scythe also had like the build up ability where like if you kept hitting people, it would like gain power. I don't know. It was overall just a really... The angel weapons were really cool. The devil weapons...
The angel weapons are way better than the devil weapons.
The axe is cool. The fists fucking suck.
Yeah, they're really bad. The axe... I feel like the axe is the only one I really used on the devil.
Yeah.
The other angel weapon, though, the little, like, the spinning blade things. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the shuriken things.
Yeah. I fucking love those weapons, dude.
Those are cool. The way you can like group people together and like,
dude,
they fly out so far.
It's fucking awesome. Just switching between that, the Scythe and Rebellion, and the Murder Axe, like it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I definitely like respect that game for the gameplay. And giving Dante Nero's like Devil Bringer like a grab move was also cool. And it has 2 different versions of it too, because like you can either bring yourself closer to the enemy or bring the enemy closer to you.
Right.
That was pretty cool.
That's also in 5. I don't remember if it's in 4 or not. But it's not your choice. It's just if the enemy's too strong, you'll just get pulled to it instead. Which is still cool. Reboot story is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It's up there with 1 and 2 as being like laughably bad.
Yeah, I
don't think the story in 1 is bad, but it's a laughable story.
Yeah.
But Reboot kind of has the best of both worlds from the first 2 games, because it's like it's I guess not the best, because it's as bad a story. It's a worse story than 2, almost.
Here's the thing about Reboot is that the writing is bad, not necessarily the story.
I think they're, cookies and cream. They're one and the same.
Well, I mean, like, you could make most of this, because the story is pretty straightforward, like, almost, like, it kind of toes the line of like being what it was before, but it has like the weird like resistance stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's just the writing is so fucking cringe. Like, it's awful.
Yeah.
Like, every time, like, the villains are always referring to Dante's mom as, like, a whore for no reason. Like, I mean, I get it, they're demons, but, like...
I didn't know my mother, but if you're calling me a son of a
Yeah.
bitch, you wouldn't be the first. That is my least favorite line of dialogue.
It's
anything ever.
It's pretty bad. And then there's, like,
so bad.
Why did you kill my child? I will ask
Fuck you!
I actually really like that cutscene where, like, Dante's fighting the succubus.
Yeah.
It's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah. No, that's one of the highlights of the game, honestly.
Yeah, the
What did
cutscenes.
you think of
The cutscenes toe the line between being like funny and just like really cringe.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that a lot of the cutscenes in the game, like, they kind of knew what they almost knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Because, like, the succubus scene, like, that's clearly supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
And it is. And then there's other scenes where it's like, clearly they're trying to make him look cool by saying something witty and kind of edgy, and it's like, they're trying to make him seem cool, but in reality, they're just making it funny.
Yeah. There are plenty of times
but Dante's just not in on the joke.
Yeah,
of it being
definitely.
funny.
There are a few times where it works, like in the Mundus fight at the very end. Like Mundus is like having some like fucking huge like fucking like he's just going to town, like just yelling shit at him when he's like in his big monster form, and like in the middle of all his yelling at Dante just like, you're an asshole.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
Yeah, it is. The game's honestly, like, it has its moments. What did you think of, I forget the guy's name, but the news guy, that boss fight?
Oh, Barbus or whatever the fuck his name was.
Yeah, what'd you think of that boss fight?
I didn't like it at first because I didn't understand what was happening.
Sure.
Once I understood what was happening, it was all right. It was like a fun like puzzle fight.
Cool. I'm pretty sure a lot of people love that fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
okay.
there's not many fights. I can't even think of one fight in that game I would say I love.
Yeah. The Virgil fight is pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess I love that one.
I don't know if I love that. It's definitely the weakest Virgil fight of the franchise.
It's the weakest Virgil fight, but it's still a Virgil fight. You know what I mean? I really like the build up to that one too. Like their whole, like, right after they beat Mundus and
yeah,
like, just it's cool.
That would be cool, but like they don't really like Virgil isn't really like a fleshed out character in that game.
No, he's not.
So
no.
when he says the shit about like ruling, like you don't really like care. Like you didn't like you're not attached to him or anything. Like Dante is, I guess, even though he didn't care at first. He just kind of started caring, I guess.
See, here's the thing about all that, is that in the confines of that game alone, like, it's stupid, you don't care, but in the context of the franchise, you're like, when is Virgil gonna turn on Dante?
Yeah.
When are they gonna fight? So like when you beat Mundus and you're like, oh, is the game over? Like, did I just beat the game? And then, you know, they kind of they start to, you know, argue with each other there at the end, and you're like, oh shit, it's fucking finally happening. And it's a cool fight. It's actually a cool final fight.
Yeah, that it is cool.
So
I do like how much of an asshole Virgil is throughout the game.
Yes, he's a piece of shit.
Like without being like an actual like villain until the very end, he's like such a dick.
Yeah.
Like just subtly. Like, and at the very end when he's like talking about like, oh, the woman like played her part and stuff, like, dude, she literally like she like was half the reason we fucking won. Like,
yeah.
I'll
give you a dry hand job if you can tell me the woman's name from that game.
Cat.
Fuck. All right, you can redeem that whenever you need.
That's only because that was the last game I played.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would not have remembered if it wasn't.
Whenever you were talking about Dante sticking up for her and you called her the woman, I was like, oh, he's fucking done. But No, that's yeah, she's if it weren't for Lucia, man, she'd be the weakest link.
Yeah.
Like out of like it's her and Lucia, man. As far as main characters go,
I mean, honestly, she doesn't have that much less going on than really any of the other female side
she's
characters.
just
She's just
fucking
lame.
lame.
Yeah, she's lame.
yeah, it's just when you're in a series like Devil May Cry where like you live and breathe by how cool you are, you can't be lame.
Yeah.
Like you just can't.
Also,
It's like go ahead.
one of the things I wanted to talk about with DMC was that, like, literally the course of events happening don't make any fucking sense. Like, the rules they set up don't make any sense. Like,
No,
the limbo shit doesn't make any sense. Kat has this whole spiel, like, at the very beginning of the game, like, what if I shot you? Like, I would die and it would be sad. But then, like, during the raid segment, like, Dante can't interact with the people that are, like, walking around, even though he can see them in limbo. He can't interact with them or kill them.
Yeah.
But Kat can, like, graffiti the walls so that he can interact with them.
It's fucking retarded.
But then in the car chase segment, like, he's just, like, interacting with fucking everything. Like, he's, like, moving the cranes around.
Yeah.
And he's, like, pushing, like, the propeller blade. Like,
See,
all that stuff is just interactable in limbo, I guess, just for no reason.
That's the problem when you have a like weird alternate world while the real world is like over it. Like it just never works.
Yeah, I hated the limbo stuff. Like, it felt like, you know how in, like, Mortal Kombat, the campaign where, like, you know, like, there's 4 fights coming, and, like, they're gonna happen at some... That's what limbo felt like. Like, you'd be walking around, like, okay, it's time to go in limbo now. They see you, uh-oh. Like,
Right.
it's like in Mortal Kombat when, like, you walk up to someone and they just want to fight you for no reason.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good comparison. Yeah, so the gameplay is fun. The story is not. The story's funny though. It's definitely like if you were to watch like all cutscenes, like if you were to marathon every game and only watch the cutscenes, I'd probably laugh at Reboot the most.
Yes, definitely.
Well,
Well,
both intentionally
actually,
and unintentionally.
I don't know, 3's pretty funny.
3 is pretty funny, but I feel like I don't. 3's just fucking cool.
Yeah.
I don't. When I think of 3, I don't think of any of the jokes.
Well, but 3 also has moments where, like, you know when Lady, like, shoots, like, the rocket launcher at Dante and just rides it for, like, a straight minute for no reason?
Yeah.
Like, it has a lot of moments like that.
See, I'm so, like, autistic that, like, when shit like that happens, I don't even think to laugh. I'm just like, oh! Like, even there's the scene in, like, Mission 5, I think, when Dante is stuck at the door and Jester says... Jester says something, and he says, write it down on your hand if you don't trust your head. And it's like, that's kind of I feel like that's supposed to be like a funny, like, he's a jester, he's saying silly shit. But whenever he said, the first time I played that game and he said that, I was like, that's so cool, dude. Fucking retarded.
That's actually something I wanted to bring up. He says that like it's going to be a gameplay mechanic, and it never happens again. Like,
no, it's literally
remember to hit this object. Remember to hit that with your sword.
No, yeah. No, they someone in the office thought of that line and was like, we got to find a way to put that in the dialogue. It's awesome.
Back to Reboot. Yeah, I didn't like the limbo stuff at all.
No, it's terrible.
It was like, one thing that confused me was that I kind of thought that like Dante didn't have any powers in the real world. And it was like all in limbo. But then at the end of the game, I guess they merged the worlds together at the end, so I guess that's why he has like his sword and everything when he fights Virgil. That kind of confused me at first, though. Because I kind of thought that him and Virgil were just kind of like fucking plebs in real life or something.
That's fucking goofy.
Because
it's like Spy Kids 3.
Yeah.
Only instead of going in a video game, they go into limbo.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, Virgil was like, "I'm the guy." Now I want a Devil May Cry movie with Elijah Wood as Virgil.
He'd be a better Virgil than this fucking guy.
Yeah. Dude, if you want to see, honestly, I know you didn't play it, but if you want to see some of the worst like acting in the series, the Virgil DLC and reboot, it's pretty bad.
I'll have to check it out.
It's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, I can't even begin to comprehend what they were thinking when they were doing this. Like, I get what they were thinking. Like, oh no, 4 didn't do as well as we wanted it to.
Which it's crazy that they blame that on the game itself, because it's like, one, you have all these controversial type things like in the fucking, as far as like gameplay and currency goes,
Yeah.
like, but dude, it was an Xbox exclusive for like 5 fucking years almost.
It was I thought it was cross-platform.
No, when 4 came out, it was Xbox 360 exclusive.
Wow, that's crazy.
I'm pretty sure. Wait, let me.
I'm pretty sure it was cross-platform.
Yeah, I guess it was. What the fuck was I thinking?
It was the first Devil May Cry game to be cross-platform, though.
Damn, I'm retarded.
But yeah, like all the character redesigns are just like it's so bad. Dante looks like the fucking like cringiest emo person of all time. Like he doesn't look cool.
What's even worse about that is that he has extra skins that make him look like original Dante.
Yeah,
like
I
DMC1
know.
Dante.
Yeah.
They're bad.
Oh really?
They don't even fix it.
That's
like
awesome.
I use it because it's better than like his default, I guess. But like it's just it doesn't. The art style's too different. It doesn't fit.
But dude, like Virgil is like that's like the worst fucking like he looks like he should be like a fucking like accountant or something.
Yeah, no, Virgil's redesign is actually one of the worst things I've ever seen.
No, it's actually fucking awful.
Virgil in Reboot looks like one of the what are they, the Sprouse twins from Zack and Cody. Like he looks like one of those. Like you can't have Virgil,
Yeah.
the same dude from DMC3. You could have fucking Cody play him in a movie.
And like
no, that's fucking crazy.
So much of his character in 3 was also like just the voice. Like he had like that. He has like a weird like kind of like nasally voice, and it works really
sick.
well. Yeah. And like they give him the most like generic fucking voice they could possibly find. Like,
Yeah.
oh Dante, you're my brother.
We are Nephilim.
It's so bad. And like it really detracts from the end of the game too, because like
it does.
it's cool that like they're doing the whole like Dante versus Virgil shit, but like this is the lamest. Like you could go to an alternate dimension and like Doctor Strange, like going between like all the dimensions, like, oh, who has the worst Virgil? You couldn't find one worse than this one.
I don't know. Maybe you could.
I mean, even if you did, it would probably be funnier.
True. Like I said though, that fight introduced Doppelganger.
I mean, gameplay wise, yeah, the fight is cool, but like that has nothing to do with the character.
Okay, yeah. If you're just talking about the character,
yeah.
Yes, that's fair to say.
Yeah,
his outfit sucks.
The fight definitely could have been worse.
Like 1% of his outfit is blue.
Yeah.
It's just really bad. He doesn't feel like obviously Dante in Reboot doesn't feel like he's cool either. Here's a good way to put it. I feel like Dante and Virgil in Reboot are like 5'8". Yeah. And all the other games, they're at least like 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand exactly what you mean.
Like they no hate on short folk, but like they look like boys.
Yeah.
In Reboot.
And like they're going up against like the fucking lamest villain of all time.
Yeah.
It's just Kingpin. Like the bad guy is just Kingpin.
It's literally worse Kingpin.
Yeah. It's like the worst Kingpin you can imagine,
Yeah.
but he has demon powers.
That game's also, like, weirdly sexual.
Well, it's...
Like,
I wouldn't even say weirdly, because, like, the whole point of the game is, like, it's, like, edgy. And, like, they're trying to be, like, as, like, fucking, like, edgy as they can. Be like, oh, it's a strip club. He's in a strip club. There's boobies.
Yeah, like, I get that stuff. That makes sense. But there's one scene in particular where, I don't remember how early it happens in the game, but it's Dante, like, you finish a mission, and then something happens, and it cuts to Mundus, and it's him literally just, like, fucking backshotting his sword. And that's just how the scene introduces them. And it's like, can I play again?
Even, like, the first fucking mission of the game, it starts out, Cat's, like, at Dante's trailer.
And he's fucking naked.
And he's butt naked. And it's, like, they don't, like, even, like, make a joke out of it or anything. He's just, like, naked for no reason. Yeah. I guess they do it so he can have, like, the putting on clothes thing.
Yeah.
But I did like that cutscene, like get your filthy fucking claw off my trailer.
Yeah. Yeah.
The game definitely had its moments.
Yeah, the beginning of the game's pretty good. Honestly, I think the only game in the series that doesn't have a somewhat strong opening is 2.
Yeah. 2 doesn't have a somewhat strong anything.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
That's the best compliment you can give this game, is that it's not as bad as 2.
Yeah, honestly, thank fucking God that 2 exists, so I can say I like Reboot, and people won't just immediately discredit me as a fan.
I guess it's not entirely... Because I do like Reboot more than 1, at least gameplay-wise. Like, I somewhat respect this game. It's so stupid that they had to, like, kill the entire franchise to make this game. Like, it's a little bit ridiculous how, like, they assassinated every fucking character and just made, like, a worse version of it because 4 didn't sell as well as they thought it would.
I don't see, that's like a chicken or the egg type of thing, because it's like, did Reboot kill the franchise, or did the franchise kind of die and then Reboot just was made? Because they're like, well, this didn't work. Let's try everything else that we haven't done yet.
That's fair. Although
I don't blame either game. I do blame Reboot for... Actually, you know what? I can't even blame Reboot, because Reboot was so poorly reviewed. Or I don't even know how poorly reviewed it. Obviously, fans of the series didn't like it. I don't know how people felt about it as, like, non-fans.
Yeah.
But because it had so much backlash, it didn't get a proper sequel, and we got the original characters back like 6 years later. So
let me give you another analogy. I'm a big Metroid fan.
Yeah.
DMC Reboot seems to have done what Metroid Other M did to that franchise. The Reboot kind of did to this franchise, or like Metroid. Although Metroid definitely was dead for longer than DMC.
Yeah.
I think we went like fucking like, I want to say 9-10 years without a Metroid game.
Fucking Nintendo, man.
Yeah. So it wasn't quite as bad, but because 4 did kind of, I guess like you said, it was like 5 years before Reboot even came out.
Yeah.
But like after that, like, who wants to see the sequel to this fucking game?
Right.
Like I literally wrote down in my notes, because like the final cutscene of this game is so fucking stupid. Or it was just the ending overall. I don't know if it was the final cutscene.
When Dante and Kat are walking away and he like squeezes her ass or something.
No. I'm talking about after you like meld the worlds together, and it's like, oh my god, like it's like Twitter, like, and like YouTube and stuff, like, I'm seeing there's demons everywhere, what the hell?
Yeah, that shit's fucking stupid.
There is a post on there that, no joke, it's like the center frame, like a hashtag demons, we have awoken.
Yeah, I remember that.
That made me laugh so fucking hard. It was so fucking funny.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid, dude. That game is so stupid.
It's so stupid, but I don't know. I respect this game for being as fun and stupid as it is.
Yeah.
I will say most of the levels were fucking boring. I had a spark of hope towards like the end of the game. You know the nightclub level where like you go to kill the baby?
Yeah.
That level is actually really interestingly designed compared to the other ones.
I remember that being one of the ones I liked more.
Yeah, like the color palettes and like because the entire game it's like fucking ugly, like red, like dark red,
like,
black.
Yeah, it's like red and brown and black. Yeah.
But like you get in there and it's like all these like the colors are like shifting like to the music. There's like audio tracks going in the background like beating to the music.
Yeah.
It was just a nice change of pace, and I don't think anything really ever like built on that.
No, definitely not.
During the Barbados or whatever his fucking name was, boss, you go in like inside the news.
Barbados?
Yeah, whatever.
From Captain Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yes. You get drawn into like the news station channel, and you like jump on like the platforms in the news like fucking intro thing or whatever. That looked kind of cool compared to like just I was just sick of walking around Limbo, honestly.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So anything that like changed the visual flair was welcome.
Yeah, because that doesn't happen a lot in that game.
No. Yeah, the nightclub was definitely the most visually interesting level in the game.
That's for sure.
Building on top of the levels like looking and feeling lame, this game has easily the worst title screen out of any of the games.
Yes.
You boot it up and it's like Devil May Cry.
Yeah, it's the worst fucking voice they've ever had.
And it's just like a blank screen with like it's got like fucking like it's like the Doom like title screen where like there's just like weird random like demonic shit happening in the background. And it's just like a like stale like it has the logo for the game and then like press start. It's so lame. The mission complete screen sucks. It didn't have like a effect where like the screen like blasted open or anything. It just kind of listed off your stats. It cut to black, it listed off your stats and ended. It was really lame.
Yeah. That does suck.
I already talked about how that you never get any fucking green orbs. There's like
Yeah, it's such like a weird thing too. Like,
because like green orbs were never like a rarity in the other games. Like
No,
at
no.
least when you were fighting like regular enemies, like in boss fights, they were rare. But
right.
I don't think you even encounter a green orb in this game until like the third or fourth mission.
That's not true. That can't be true.
No, I'm pretty because like there are these things that latch onto the walls that you can hit. I don't think there's like maybe 2 different enemies in the game that drop green orbs. But there's these things that latch onto the walls that you can hit and get green orbs. I didn't find a single fucking one of those in the first like at least 2 or 3 missions.
Really?
Yeah, at least I know there wasn't one in the first mission. Unless
I feel like that's just not true.
unless it was like super out of the way, but like I feel like there wasn't. I guess I could be wrong, but I remember thinking like, why aren't there any fucking green orbs? Like, did they just take them out?
You're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think I definitely spent the most amount of orbs on healing items in that game out of any of the other ones. Because like a lot like 4, like the only thing you can fucking spend them on is items. So
Right.
yeah, as you were saying, the boss weapons were cool. They don't make any sense. Bob Barbados gives you the nunchucks, and that doesn't like have anything to do with his powers or
No.
anything. the succubus gives you the fist. They don't have anything to do with the succubus's powers or anything. It's really lame.
Yeah, I don't know what like the correlation is supposed to be with any of them.
I don't think there is a correlation. I think they just thought of boss weapons like, oh, I guess we can just give them the boss weapons at this part when they beat this boss.
Yeah. It definitely feels like they made the weapons at some point, like conceptually, and then they just made the bosses based on what was happening in the story, and they're like, oh, just fucking have that boss give you this weapon.
Oh,
it'll be fine.
One thing I noticed that was really fucking annoying, the sound mixing was awful.
Really?
Yes, so the cutscenes, like, they were fine, but then once you got into gameplay, the, like, dialogue audio was, like, fucking ear-piercingly loud for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, and I there was no option to just change dialogue volume, so, like, I was just...
so weird.
Yeah, it was really weird. I don't know why.
I haven't noticed that. I mean, if I ever did notice that, it wasn't so bad that I would have mentioned
I mean,
it,
I just turned my TV's audio down, and, like, the cutscenes weren't so quiet that I couldn't hear what was happening. But, like, the first time it happened, like, I had my volume set up to, like, what I normally have it at, and the cutscenes were sounding fine, and then I got into gameplay, and, like, the person just fucking, like, screamed something at me, and I was like, holy shit. Like...
That's funny. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had any, like, weird sound issues.
Maybe
But,
it's
I
not...
mean, I totally believe that it would be an issue.
Yeah. Maybe if you ever boot up that game again, just, like, it might just be, like, a me thing. Because I don't like, weird audio, like, changes between, like, the cutscenes being different than the actual gameplay dialogue is annoying to me.
No, I get that.
But if you do boot up the game again, like, keep an ear out for that, because it's very noticeable once you notice that it's a thing. And from what I saw, there was no option in the settings, because it was like a PS3 game, so there was no option to change, like, just the dialogue audio.
Yeah.
The enemies in this game I kind of didn't really like. Most of them were either boring or annoying. I hated the tyrants. The tyrants fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was like, you have, like, the base enemies that are just combo food. And then, like, once you get the grapple hook thing, it's like, oh, if these guys have shields, you can grapple those shields off of them. I guess the enemies weren't, like, super annoying, but, like, I don't know. It was a weaker enemy roster than, like, some of the other games.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's definitely not, like, any iconic enemies.
Yeah. Also, the Devil Trigger fucking sucks. The way it's designed in this game is awful, because, like, it spaces, like, it feels like they knew why Devil Trigger was fun in the other games and just made it, like, the most annoying they possibly could, because it spaces all the enemies out and puts them in the air, so you can't, like, activate Devil Trigger and go right into a combo. You have to, like, pull one of the enemies towards you or jump to them and then start attacking them. And then since everyone's now spaced out, you can't, like, combo everyone together. Like, It's so fucking annoying. Why would they do that?
It's a great question.
It's definitely the worst Devil Trigger out of any of the games.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, it's still, like, it's powerful, but, like, it makes, like, regular enemy encounters less fun.
Yeah, I don't think I ever used it except for, like, getting health back.
That's fair.
Because like you said, it just makes it less fun.
Yeah.
Like, your like, install power up in these games should not, like, slow down the pace.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like, it's just weird. Like, in all the other games, it's like you can do it, like, mid combo, and, like, you almost don't even notice you're doing it.
Yeah. And they definitely made it more, like, modernized too, because you click in both of the sticks to activate it instead of just pressing the L1 button.
Yeah, it's I feel like Reboot is like such a product of its time.
Yeah.
It's whereas all the other games, it's like it's unique to the franchise. You know,
Yeah.
like Reboot still has that Devil May Cry like uniqueness, but it's also like you can tell this game came out in 2013.
Yeah.
Like this is a school shooter game.
And and you can tell that they were like definitely trying to shake things up too.
Yeah.
One of the changes I did like, one of the few changes I did like was when you are doing the timed attacks, your sword glows when it's ready to start the next like move in that attack.
Oh yeah.
Which I thought that was cool, especially since like I think that they made it worse in this game because like you can combo straight into another weapon if you do the like tap hold and then like tap again thing. But as a result of being able to do that, you have one combo that does that in the entire game, and it's just you hit the triangle button twice and then you wait and then you hit it again and it starts the next like thing of that combo. There's no like I don't think there's another timed combo in the game other than tap wait and then tap however many times again. Because like in the other DMC games, you have like Dante's like tap once and then wait, and then you have like the when you get Devil Sword Dante in 5, you have tap, and then you can use like the shredder. I don't know. The combos kind of sucked in this game because like they oversimplified it.
Oh, for sure.
And I mean, it's cool that you can combo straight into another weapon, because I don't think you can, like, with the way the weapon switching works, I don't think you can really do that in the other games. Or
no,
if
you can't.
But, like,
yeah. I don't know if you heard that right.
Yeah. But, like, I don't know. They sacrifice too much to make that, because I hardly ever used it, to be honest. Like I used that combo quite a bit, but I didn't use it to switch to a different weapon very often. Because honestly, I never really used any of the other weapons like hold combos or like wait combos. Because for the most part, I was using either the shredder or like the fucking axe like 3-hit combo.
Yeah, those are the go-tos.
And I mean, of course, I was using the shurikens to like bring enemies closer and stuff too. But I think that's like a hold move or something.
Right.
Or no. That is the tap combo for that one. But I don't know. I don't like the way they changed it. I think it was better in like 3 onward. Except maybe 4 was only bad because of the weapon roster, but... and just taking away styles in general was just like a bad idea, I think.
Yeah, it's a...
Because like
very much
having circle
downgrade.
mapped to like just do like having circle mapped to do like air stuff is stupid, I think.
It definitely is.
Because like it's so simple to just aim and hold back and press triangle. And one thing I respect so much about 5 is that like I didn't like at first when you got Devil Sword Dante, because it changed out your whole combo system. But then you realize like you have access to a bunch of stuff you only had access to with Swordmaster now, and it's just built into different combos.
Right.
So like you can do like Shredder with like just without using Swordmaster now with Devil Sword Dante. Whereas in a DMC Devil May Cry, it's a fucking like it's the whatever the weapon is called. I don't remember what the weapon is called. The scythe. It's the circle attack for that. Which it would have been just a rebellion move for Swordmaster in the other games, and then in the case of 5, it's just a Devil Sword Dante move.
Right.
It feels like they just like they took out so many bells and whistles for no reason. Like they didn't add anything in their stead.
No, that's for sure like the truth. I feel like they were just trying to get rid of so many things that made those games unique to be its own thing. But it does that. It is its own thing, but like in a bad way.
Yeah.
You know.
Dante in that game just feels like a weird hybrid between Dante and Nero, because he's like simplified like Nero.
Yeah.
But without any of the cool like extra bells and whistles like the Devil Bringer and stuff,
Right.
like, or at least like the grabbing part of the Devil Bringer. Like
he's literally a mix between Devil May Cry 4, Nero, and Dante, but like at their simplest levels.
Yeah.
Like that's all it is.
And like I said, the weapon switching is kind of cool, but it's like only 2 of the weapons are cool anyway. So
right.
And I
But
never
I
never
cool.
even used the other guns really.
Right. Yeah, I don't use the guns. I don't think I ever used anything but Ebony and Ivory in that.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the best game?
Yeah, we can. Let me make sure I didn't want to talk about anything else real quick. No, we can talk about we can talk about 5.
Hell yeah. What did so you had played it before? How long has it been since you beat it the first time? Like a year?
I think it was in 2022 when I beat
Okay.
DMC 5. Because it was like the special edition had just come out.
Did it?
Or it hadn't just come out, but it was like it came out and it was one of like the PS5 like launch things, so I bought it. And I didn't beat it when I bought it, but I played it like at some point during that time. Because
Right.
I think that was also the time frame when I didn't have a job.
That makes sense.
So yeah, I went through and played it. I don't even count that as a playthrough anymore because I missed out on so much.
It's like my first Rift Apart playthrough.
Yeah, like, dude, playing this game after playing all of the other ones adds like so much to the experience. And
for sure does.
also, I'm a retard, and I guess used to suck at video games. Because I used the gold orb probably for like every fucking boss in the game when I first played it.
No kidding.
Like, no joke. The final, like the Virgil fight at the end when you're playing as Nero and it's like supposed to be like basically a scripted fight. I died during that fight.
That's pretty funny.
It is funny. And that sucked so bad because that fight is like that is such a perfect end to a video game. Like it's a.
Yeah.
Playing it this time, I hardly even, like, remembered it, because, I was like, holy shit, this is so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, so, after fighting Virgil with Dante, like, the Virgil fight with Dante is already, like, probably the best fight in the game.
Yeah.
And then with the Nero fight, it's, like, basically just, like, that's the end of that's the scripted end to the game, basically. But, like, when you go into that fight, and, like, after that cutscene and everything, and you have your Devil Bringer, and, like, you don't even know how to use it yet, really, because, like, you're just figuring it out. And the first time you activate your Devil Trigger, and, like, the music changes, it's so fucking good.
Dude.
It's such...
Fuck you!
Yeah.
Dude, Silver Bullet is, like, it's up there as one of my favorite themes in the game, or in the series.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm a sucker for when the final boss is like a remixed version of like your main theme.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just Silver Bullet is such a beautiful remix of or not, I won't say beautiful, it's not that deep. But it's such a cool remix of Devil Trigger. Just because it's like it's the same chorus, but like they emphasize different parts of it.
Yeah, it is cool. And it definitely works in that part of the game, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that... Honestly, definitely the Virgil fight with Dante is the best fight in the game, but
Yeah.
that fight with Nero is like that's like a top like 5 fucking like boss fight for me, like in terms of like how cool it is. Like I don't know, something about like that whole segment where like you have this new ability that you just unlocked and you're getting to use it, and you're fighting the boss that you just like, because that Virgil fight is pretty fucking hard.
Yes, it is.
Until you learn like all of his moves and stuff. And then you go in with Nero and you just fucking clap his ass, like, and you're like, and you're using the Devil Bringer and like doing like fucking like special moves on him when he's weakened. And it's so cool. You can grab him when he goes into his Devil Trigger mode and like flies around the stage. It's so cool.
Yeah, the end of 5 is such like a, it's such a what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a roller coaster in the most perfect way.
Yeah.
Cuz it's just boom boom boom. Just like awesome shit's going on.
But yeah, let's talk about the entire game instead of just the ending.
Right. What was your you say Cavalier is your favorite in 5, right? As far as weapons.
It's my favorite, like, all-around new weapon, which I guess there's not very many. There's, like, I guess it's, like, the only, like, truly new weapon.
Yeah, pretty much.
But, I mean, the new Cerberus nunchucks are really cool.
They are.
But yeah, I think that using the, like, actually getting to use the Cavalier and use it correctly, and, like when when you get a chance to use it to its full potential, it's so fun.
Oh yeah.
It's really easy to like get hit while you're using it because it's so slow.
Right.
Like in the right scenario, it's so much fun to use because like when you're in Swordmaster and you can like just fucking like turn it into the motorcycle and like just rev around and like go everywhere with it. It's so cool.
Dude, the first time I used that weapon and like used Swordmaster with it and like just literally rode that, I've never mashed the Swordmaster button more with a weapon. Like I was just like, oh, I can just fucking, like I was just holding it in every direction, fucking spinning around, doing stupid shit.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really cool idea for a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dante weapons in this game are fucking amazing.
I think it is probably his best. It's his most complete roster of weapons.
It absolutely is, because you have every single thing that's like a staple. Because you have like the one melee weapon, which was my least favorite, but it was still cool.
Right.
Like by melee, I mean like the I forget what it's called in this one. The
It's still Ifrit.
Is it Ifrit?
Yeah. No, it's not. It's the fucking dude from 4. Isn't it?
I feel like it's a new weapon.
It could be.
I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah, it is new, because I remember he beat whatever demon it is off screen. I forget what it's fucking called.
I can't fucking remember. But I mean, it's cool. It's a like serviceable version of that type of weapon.
Right.
And then from that point on, it's like you get the Cerberus nunchucks back, which are awesome. You get 3 iterations of the Rebellion with the straight up Rebellion, Devil Sword Sparta, and then Devil Sword Dante.
Yep.
Which, like I said, I didn't like at first, but it turns out to be the best fucking sword in the game.
Yeah.
Like just being able to do Swordmaster stuff with it outside of Swordmaster is awesome.
Yeah, it's super cool.
It just takes some getting used to, but
don't forget also how cool Cerberus is compared to how it is in 3.
Yeah, because you can do like the staff and like the lightning moves and stuff.
Yeah, it's literally 3, because it's King Cerberus this time.
Yeah.
So it's like the fucking 3 different heads basically. It's just so fucking awesome.
It is. It's really cool. And then obviously you get Cavalier, and Cavalier is just like this awesome new weapon. And it's like this. It's a super heavy weapon. It's like a chainsaw, basically, where you just like swing this half of a motorcycle at people, and it just like the wheel goes, and it does like a shit ton of damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then being able to put it together into a full motorcycle and drive it around and stuff is so cool.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, and then you've got like all your weapons that you would expect. The only ones that are like actually missing are like the grenade launcher and like, but you have the rocket launcher instead, and like the sniper rifle, I guess. But I thought that the guns were pretty cool though. The
Yeah,
hat,
they're definitely pretty cool.
the hat is weird.
Dr.
but,
Faust.
Yeah.
It is super weird. It's really cool though. Like I said earlier, I'm sitting at almost 2 million red orbs. I could go one shot Virgil right now. In the final mission. It's so fucking stupid. That hat is ridiculous.
It is.
It's a cool idea though, where it's like, if you're confident enough in yourself, you can just spend red orbs to make way more.
Yeah, that is
Like,
cool how you can like put the hat on people and get more red orbs from them.
It's a really cool concept. Gunslinger is way cooler in this game than it is in any of it.
Absolutely.
It is a little disappointing. It's not disappointing. I won't go that far, but it's sad that 90% of Dante's arsenal is just from 3.
That's fair, yeah.
But it's also okay though, because it's like Dante in this game is literally just a greatest hits.
Yes.
So it's like, it's fine.
And honestly, that's how I prefer it to be. Because, like, 4, like, yeah, all the weapons were, like, new, but they all sucked.
Yeah. I hate to say it, but I feel like this is probably the last Devil May Cry game.
I don't believe that. I think that they will definitely make another one. I don't know if it'll be connected to the other ones or not, but
if it is, I don't think it'll be that good. At least not as good as 5. Because I told you the other day, Ruben Langdon, he usually the Dante actor. He usually voices Ken in Street Fighter since Street Fighter 4, I think, or at least since 5. But he did not return because he is a huge anti-vaxxer, and I won't even say conspiracy theorist, because like the whole vaccination thing, it's like that's all proven at this point. But at the time, he was a conspiracy theorist. So Capcom decided not to work with him on Street Fighter 6, which I don't know if they're going to let that affect his work with Devil May Cry as much, because he's not just the actor for Dante. He's like since 3, he's been a huge part of like the creative process. So he's a big...
What if the franchise moves away from Dante and we get more like Nero-driven games?
I'd be perfectly fine with that. But I'm afraid they'll do the same thing they did with 4, and they won't double down on Nero.
Yeah.
Because of 5, I feel like they definitely could do that. But because of 3, I feel like they won't do that.
Yeah, I do want to talk about Nero in 5, because I feel like he definitely stands on his own a lot better than in 4.
Yes.
Because he has so many more bells and whistles. One of the main problems I had with 4 was that, at least since 3, a staple of the franchise was boss weapons. Which I guess 4 came out right after 3, so I guess it wasn't a series staple, but... in 4, Nero couldn't get boss weapons because he just had, like, the one sword, the one gun, all that stuff. In 5, he's able to actually have boss weapons to some extent, because every time you kill a boss, you get a new Devil Breaker.
Right.
And it's technically made using materials from that boss. So it's like, it has some aspect of it that's kind of similar to what what you would expect from a boss weapon.
Right.
And I really liked that, because it added more to Nero as like a gameplay character.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
And like the Devil Breakers as a whole were like such a good idea. It was a brilliant idea.
Yeah, and they're all like, even the ones that aren't like great are still unique.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, and even like most of the bad ones are DLC.
well, that's because all the DLC ones are like pre-order bonuses and like jokes and
Yeah.
shit.
Like
Like the pasta breaker.
yeah,
And
like
fucking
the Mega Man one is kind of cool.
the Mega Man one's funny because it changes his jump.
Yeah. Um,
Uh,
but like
and then there's the weird like massage.
yeah, the Sweet
Has, like,
Surrender.
Yeah, the Sweet Surrender, where it's like they put that in the game just so they could joke about him fingering Kiryu. It's like that's pretty funny.
Yeah. What was your favorite Devil Breaker?
Oh, my favorite's always been
What did you cut out?
my favorite's always been Gerber.
Gerbera.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
however you pronounce it. I just like doing air combos with it and like juggling
Yeah.
the fucking Buster Arm and
It is
fucking
cool.
just destroying people.
I really
I really like that one. I really like Raha, the one where you do the spinning and the
Yeah,
chains
yeah.
and shit.
I really like
over-
Tomboy.
Tomboy's fun.
I like how it changes your entire move set.
Yeah, I never. Tomboy's cool, but that's like one of the ones I never really got. Like I didn't ever use that one that much because I feel like every time I used it, my brain just turned off and I just wasn't thinking about what I was doing anymore, which is cool.
That's fair.
But
The thing
like,
about the thing about those though is that if you get hit, they break, and Tomboy is
Right.
always active while you've got the extra like move set equipped.
yeah.
So I thought that was cool.
It is cool.
And I like
Like
how
it-
they
like-
all have like a unique self-destruct also.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, it is pretty cool. Overture is like the perfect like starter one.
Yes, it is.
It's fucking great.
Because it's kind of similar to the Devil Arm, like where like a big hand comes out and like pushes people. Like you can't grab them, but
Right.
it kind of has the same vibe going on.
Right. No, they're all pretty cool. Then you have shit like Punchline. That one's really cool.
Yeah, that one is cool.
What else is there? There's Ragtime. That one's cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
There's the one that I forget what it's called, but it's like the one that you can grab people with.
the Buster Arm.
Yeah, the Buster Arm.
Yeah, that one's cool. That one's cool because it's like that one almost kind of tricks you out because they put it in the game and you're like, oh, I guess his devil arm really is gone.
Yeah.
You're just doing this the whole time, which is still cool, but it's like that kind of doubles down on it. And then at the end of the game, you get it back anyway, and you're just like, ooh, yay!
Yeah, and this game is so cool for like waiting until the entire game to give you that. And then if you go back and replay the missions, like you can use it on all the bosses.
Yes, it's so fucking cool.
Like
It's great.
I honestly can't believe they had the restraint to wait that long to implement it with how like ingrained it is into the gameplay.
Well, they didn't because they have the Buster Arm for the thing.
I get, but like, can you throw around like the bosses with that arm?
I'm pretty sure you can. Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing is that you have to have it in that moment.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
you can't
guess
let it break.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't like you don't unlock it until like I think what's that one stupid boss that like the big walking thing?
The what is that called? The Goliath?
No, that's the guy that's looks like Beowulf.
Oh yeah, Gilgamesh.
Yeah, Gilgamesh. I think you unlock that like right before that fight because that's when I remember using it. So
Yeah.
I didn't get to test it out and see if it worked like that on the other bosses.
Yeah. No, that was one of the ones I used the least, honestly, because it's like it's cool that it's his ability from 4, but it's like there's all these new toys to play with.
Yeah,
You know.
and then you eventually do unlock the like just the straight up Devil Bringer.
Yeah, it's really fucking cool.
Let me see. This time I remember the first time I played it, I didn't like V that much.
Uh-huh.
I do like him slightly more now. I still think he's
That's
definitely
good.
the weakest character in the game.
If anyone says Dante or Nero weaker than V gameplay wise, they are literally have never seen gameplay of this game before.
Yeah. The reason that V isn't as good as them is like he kind of like from a conceptual standpoint can't be just because of the way he works. It's so
Right.
hard to actually aim his attacks and stuff, like utilize them.
I
'Cause, like-
I agree with Shadow.
Yes.
I have a perfectly fine time doing anything with Griffin or Nightmare.
Well, Griffin is so much simpler than Shadow though.
Yeah. But he is and he isn't because Griffin is like your main what's the word? Like spread attack? I don't know. Crowd control, that's it.
Yeah.
Because like you can do the attack that's like the V shape and you can do the fucking storms and all that shit. With Shadow, it's like that's your one that you just want to combo one dude at a time.
Yeah, and he just kind of like it's hard to like it's hard to like do directional inputs with them cuz like
At the same time.
yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
And I mean like they definitely make up for that by just making V like the most overpowered character in the game.
Yeah, for sure.
But it makes it a little bit it makes the combat less fun with him, I think. I mean still
Right.
it's still fun. Shadow definitely has a few combos that are really fun.
I also really like that whenever you're walking around, when his sprint is he just rides Shadow.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit janky sometimes when you're trying to like just run a little bit and then he just hops on and then gets off and
yeah, it definitely does. But it's still cool.
it is cool though, yeah. Especially like lore wise since V is like basically like fucking dying.
Yes, dude. The lore of V, like it's a pretty obvious whole plot line. Like I think it's in mission 17 when Dante's going around and I think Griffin says it. He's like, we're Virgil's remaining nightmares from Malay Island. It's
Yeah.
like, that's so cool that's why they're all connected with
Yeah,
him.
it is cool that
he's
you get
just
to control the
nightmares.
bosses from one.
Yeah. It's just really fucking awesome.
And all of their moves are moves from one too. Like Shadow
Yeah.
has the weird like fucking like piranha plant move where he turns into like this big fucking thing with teeth.
He has that. He has the giant like spear thing.
And then Griffin has his like fucking lasers that he shoots down.
Yes.
It's so cool.
It's
Nightmare
fucking awesome.
is the only one that is like drastically different than how he was in one.
Right.
But only because it would be kind of weird to like implement how that would work in
Yeah.
the combat.
Right.
But I mean,
It's-
Nightmare was always just kind of like a giant massive goop, so like it doesn't
Right.
really matter that much.
I like to assume that Nightmare in 5 is like Nightmare's true version
Yeah.
and not just like a weird piece of shit.
But no,
No,
V was definitely an interesting character because it was also cool how like you couldn't kill people with Shadow or Griffin or Nightmare, or I guess you might have been able to do it with Nightmare. I don't remember.
yeah. No, you can't. You still need to.
Okay, but yeah, it's cool how you have to like walk up to them and use the cane, or use the one move that like puts canes everywhere to kill them.
That's Royal Fork is what that's called.
Yeah,
It is cool that they do that because it's such a easy, interesting way to like keep him as the character involved in the action instead of just like hiding in a corner the whole time. Because like when you do, like you need to what's the word? Expose yourself to kill an enemy.
yeah.
Granted, you're invincible during the animation.
Yeah, and you unlock a move pretty early on that allows you to teleport straight to them and do it.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah. I also like how a lot of his moves are, the names of them are chess moves.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of a fucking nerd.
He's such a nerd, dude.
Do they ever explain, like, what the fucking V book is? Like, why Virgil has that? Or...
To my knowledge, no.
Okay. It's cool though. I like how
Yeah.
his taunts like he can hold you can hold down the button to build up your devil trigger and just kind of like walk around and read while the other people are fighting.
Yeah, it is neat. I like his he has that one taunt where he just I think if you triple S he just plays the violin or whatever.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fucking great. I think all three characters have something like that because Nero has a taunt where if you have triple S, he'll play like air guitar, and it actually makes like guitar sounds and shit. Same as V's violin. I don't remember what Dante's equivalent to that is though.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't use the taunts as much as I should have, so I didn't catch on to a lot of that stuff.
You should if you just want to see them, you should just look up like all taunts on YouTube or something at some point. Because there's quite a few that are awesome. So what'd you think of some of the other bosses in the virtual fight that we talked about?
The Cerberus fight was really cool.
Yeah.
And Urizen, the final Urizen fight is so cool.
Yes, it is.
It's really fucking hard. But one thing I did try to beat this game without gold orbs because I didn't do that before. And I did end up doing that, so I'm proud of myself for that. I think this is the only game that I beat that I didn't use any items in.
Nice.
And I think some of the bosses in this game are pretty hard.
I'd say on average this game has the hardest bosses.
I don't think any boss comes close to being like as hard as like Virgil 3 and 3.
But I mean on average.
Okay, yeah, that's
like
fair.
if you were to rank all the bosses game 1 through 10 on difficulty, this game would have like a 7 something probably.
That's fair.
Speaking of which, low key, most underrated, most difficult boss no one ever talks about is the second Urizen fight. Like when he's still in like that main chamber or whatever. But
yeah, where like you have to actually like break the crystal and stuff.
I have never beaten that fight.
Oh really?
Yeah, because obviously I have in the story mode, but you have to fight him in Bloody Palace on like stage 80 something, and I have not fucking ever ever with any character. That being said, I've never gone that far on Bloody Palace with because he's just easier.
You're starting to cut out a little bit.
I said I've never tried Bloody Palace like that far with V. So
okay.
I'm sure V would be the easiest one.
Yeah.
But the end of Bloody Palace is so fucking hard because it's just a boss rush at the end, which makes sense because like that's what Bloody Palace is. It's like just a ladder of the hardest shit in the game. Let me make sure. I'm gonna look up what exactly the last few missions are so I don't say it incorrectly. Why can't I think of what I'm doing? Okay. So what do you think of what's the bird boss's name? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the like the bird that has like the woman on top of it.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was all right though.
It's a fun one.
Yeah. It wasn't one of my favorites, but it was a cool fight. Right. It was cool how they kind of started using the like teleporting stuff.
Yeah, I like that stuff.
I also like how V throws devil breakers at you.
Yeah. That's cool because they don't usually do interconnected stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of interconnected, 5 is so weird because it did that thing where it's like you can see other people's gameplay on certain parts of certain levels.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea, I guess, but it's really weird.
Yeah, it's never utilized very well.
No. It's very strange.
isn't it funny how Devil May Cry 5 is the GTA 5 of Devil May Cry games?
What do you mean by that?
Because you switch between three characters,
Oh.
and they're kind of uh like one of them is like the fucking like crazy pizza asshole guy, um,
Yeah.
and one of them is just a dude, and then the other one is like I guess there's no like a Franklin alternative, but
That is pretty funny. I never thought of it that way.
it's probably not a very good analogy, but it's funny because you can switch between three characters, and it's
Yeah.
5.
And it is 5. And they're both 5 with a Roman numeral.
Yeah.
Wow, you might be onto something. So yeah, I looked it up just now. The last 4 stages of Bloody Palace, which by the way, at no point during the last 4 stages can you save and quit. It is literally all 3 Urizen fights and then the Virgil.
Oh my god.
Also, you do not recover health.
Holy shit.
The only time you recover health is when you beat 3 in between that and Virgil.
Yeah.
So you're only healing for all 3 Urizen fights at Devil Trigger.
I'll probably never do that.
I still haven't. The furthest I've ever gotten, like I said, is I got to Urizen 2 as Dante 1. But that is the furthest I got. And the furthest I've gotten with Nero, I think I got to the bird boss on like stage 60. Because so it's like, there's like mini bosses, which you can tell when you're on a mini boss, because like usually it's 2 waves of enemies instead of 1, or like it's 2 really big, strong enemies at once or something. But the main bosses are on stage 20, you fight Goliath. On stage 40, you fight the, what's it called? The boss that lady was in.
I don't remember the name of it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And then stage 60, you fight the bird. Stage 80, you fight Cavalier Angelo. And then on 98, 99, and 100, that's the Urizen fights, and then 101 is or Dante if you're playing as Virgil.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, I don't think I'm quite at that level. I played Bloody Palace as both Dante and Nero once, and both times I got to the Goliath fight and died.
That's funny. I forgot to mention also, it starts on normal, and I think every like 40 stages the difficulty goes up.
Oh Jesus!
So like from stage 40 to 80 on what's it called?
Son of Sparta.
Yeah, Son of Sparta, and then from 80 to the end of the game, you're on Dante Must Die.
Jesus Christ!
It's fucking brutal, dude. It is fucking brutal, but it's awesome. It's really cool. It takes several hours to beat.
Yes.
if you're a normal person. What else is there to talk about in 5?
We didn't talk about the story that much.
There's not much to talk about, really.
Yeah. I think that the cutscene direction was almost on par with 3 in this one, though. There's some really cool cutscenes in this one.
Yeah, as far as direction goes, for sure. None of the cutscenes are as cool as 3, as far as choreography.
Yeah.
But there is a lot more, like, actual character. I mean, there's a lot of character stuff in 3, but there's a lot more, like, personal character stuff in this game.
Yeah.
Like when Dante reveals to Nero that Virgil is his father and stuff, and like that's such a silly thing because like it's so fucking obvious. Everyone's done it.
Yeah.
It's like, Nero, how the fuck do you not know? But he doesn't, so it's like a big moment. And then obviously the thing with the whole back and forth with Dante and Virgil whenever he becomes Virgil again is great. Um, V is such a weird character, but it works because he's bouncing off of how unserious Nero is. So like that's cool.
Yeah, I actually did like V a lot on this
Yeah,
playthrough.
I genuinely don't think there's a single aspect of 5 that I don't like.
Yeah, I will say one thing that I noted after beating the game was this is something I can't say for any of the other games. There was no point that I was dreading playing this game ever when I
Yeah,
was going to get on it.
no, for sure. Like I feel like 3. Okay, so Devil May Cry 5 is currently my third favorite game of all time.
I don't blame you at all.
And like I said earlier, 3 is fifth, which it's funny they're switched, but numbers wise they're switched anyway. But I feel like 3 has higher highs than 5, but 5 is just a fucking like flatline almost perfect game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, you know, when you're a 9.5 from beginning to end, that's better than 99% of games you're going to play.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I have Devil May Cry 3 at 19 on my list, and I have Devil May Cry 5 at 17.
nice. Very nice. Yeah. I more no, I won't say that. I was gonna say more than even Devil May Cry 6 coming out. I want a Marvel vs. Capcom to come out with Nero officially in it.
That would be cool.
It'd be cool, but I would definitely want a sixth game more than that.
Yeah, I'm glad that I'm a Devil May Cry fan now.
It's great. I'm so glad I can make you a fan out of everything I tell you to play. It's great.
I'm very open to new experiences.
I believe we will be having one soon.
Guess I'm very excited to see what you recommend.
Yeah.
But before we get there, was there anything else you wanted to talk about with 5? I think I've pretty much got... The only other thing I really had noted down was that this game looks like fucking gorgeous compared to the other games.
Well,
Like
obviously.
because it is like a notable increase in graphics since Reboot came out, and even before that, like 4.
Yeah. Well, honestly, man, I think like Reboot just came out at a bad time because like there was just in general like between like 2016 and 2018 there was like a huge graphical jump
Yeah,
in like just the way games were made. Like around the time like Red Dead 2 came out, God of War 2017 or 18, I mean,
yeah,
just shit like that. Like pretty much the end of the PS4 lifespan, like games were just light years ahead of what they had been, like out of nowhere almost.
mm-hmm.
Uh, like for instance, it's weird looking at like GTA 5 and then like Infamous Second Son. Like those games were like a year and a half apart,
Yeah,
and like they don't look the same at all.
yeah. The PS4 era definitely had a pretty big jump in quality.
Yeah. But no, this game does look great, especially with Special Edition.
Yeah, Special Edition is so fucking buttery smooth.
That's what's so cool about when the PS5 version came out. And you can play Legendary Dark Knight mode, and there's like 100 enemies damn near on your screen, and you can just fucking just dive right in, and like your game won't crash.
So that's why
It's awesome.
That's why I'll never believe people when they say that PC is like the fucking master race. Because like, can
no,
your
it's definitely
PC run Devil May Cry 5 at 60 frames per second on Legendary Dark Knight mode?
not. Right with ray
I doubt
tracing?
it. How much did it cost? $5,000?
Yeah, that's another thing, man. It's like at this point, like, first off, your PC costs way more than my fucking PlayStation or any console for that matter.
Every time you play a game, you have to change the settings because you're on PC and you're a retard.
You have to do that.
And every major
have
game
to-
that comes out, you get a shitty port of it.
Exactly. You have to fucking update your like
operating
shit.
system.
Yeah, your operating. You have to update your actual PC every few years, and it costs hundreds of dollars.
It
And
doesn't.
then, like,
Sometimes it's free.
really?
Or are you talking about like hardware?
I'm talking about hardware.
Okay, yeah, never mind.
Because like your PC is gonna shit out if you don't like keep up on it.
I thought you meant like the next Windows or something.
No. But yeah, it's like such a huge money investment for like for what you can watch porn on it.
You can play games at 120 frames per second instead of 60.
It's literally not noticeable to the human eye. It's like you could say 100 fucking things to PC master crap race people. What did I say? You can give any point, any argument you want, and be like, oh well, can you?
I can do my taxes on it.
It's like, well, I don't have to pay for PlayStation Plus. Or like some stupid. It's like, do you know how many games are exclusive to Steam? And it's like, do you know how many of them you're never fucking play because they're all bad? It's like, dude, get out. Yeah, PlayStation's winning.
We just alienated half of our audience.
Let's go. Sorry, Levi. Who cares? It's fucking not directed at you, Levi. I mean PC people.
No one is watching this anyway except for Levi.
Yeah, that's true. We love you. You send him little fairy kisses.
Yeah.
If I see him comment something about you kissing him and that proves he watched like all fucking like 4 hours of this fucking video, I'll be so proud of him.
You know he will, because he commented on our other 2 podcasts and he was like, yeah, I'll be down to do Helldivers.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll still do that at some point.
We will.
One day.
One day.
Speaking of things to do, would you like to know what we're gonna do next?
Yeah, let's I guess we've pretty much talked about everything we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Do we want to give any like overall series retrospectives before we move on to the end, or
Sure, you know.
like I really enjoyed playing all these games.
Yeah.
Devil May Cry went from being like a franchise I knew nothing about to I would say it's probably like a top 10 franchise for me now.
For video games?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the pinnacle of like just cool / fun.
Yeah, it's definitely the pinnacle of like straight up action, like combos and like
as far as a series.
Yeah, it invented the genre basically.
Yeah, like I said, 3 is like a genre defining game. Like it changed action games forever.
Yeah, and I'm glad I played every single one of them, even 2. I'm glad that I have the full experience.
Yeah, because when you play through 2, it just makes the other ones so much sweeter.
Yeah, and I'm also I'm a fucking whore for learning everything about everything. So
That's true.
I would feel incomplete if I didn't play 2.
That's fair.
That's why I even bothered playing half of Lucia's campaign.
I'm honestly so surprised you did that, but you didn't do any of the extra shit in 4.
Like I said, when I was done with 4, I was just like, and I didn't do the Lucia shit immediately. I went back to it eventually because I was like, it's been a while since I played this. It's been like a few weeks. I'll touch up on it by doing this.
Right, yeah.
And her shit's basically the same because you just double trigger and hold down the fucking shoot buttons. So.
Yeah. That's great. I'm glad they made her unique.
Yeah, what a game that is.
What a series
to be fair, it's the only like definitively bad game in the franchise though.
Yeah, it is definitely the only one, which is funny because I'm not gonna look it up. I'm gonna say this completely unhinged. I'm pretty sure I can't remember what website it is, but one of the major like game reviewing websites, like the score between Devil May Cry 1 and 2 is like way closer than it should be.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I want to say 2's an even higher score.
That's impossible. You're
I
unhinged.
I will do research later tomorrow and send it to you if I see that.
If you're wrong, I'll edit the podcast and say that you're wrong, and put I'll AI your voice into saying the correct thing.
Cool. I'm glad you're looking out. Yeah, this series is great.
Yeah.
If you haven't played it before, Levi,
Yeah.
you should play it.
Yes, Levi, get on it.
Yeah, come on, Levi.
But yeah, I'm glad that I have this series under my belt now, and I can say I'm a true fan.
I'm glad you do too. It's another thing me, you, and Josh can talk about too.
Yeah.
So
It's
great.
Eagerly anticipating whatever they do next in the franchise.
Well, don't
We'll see.
Don't be too eager. It'll be a while.
It's Capcom. They have to do something at some point.
I mean, they do, but
Especially because 5 was a success, right?
it was a major success. Yeah.
So they have to do something at some point.
See, here's the thing about Capcom though, is it's like, other than like Resident Evil, like none of their mainline games has a release more than like every 5 years.
Monster Hunter is getting pretty frequent ones now.
Monster Hunter too.
Which they didn't used to. They are now because World blew up. So maybe Devil May Cry
Right.
will blow up because of 5.
It's not multiplayer though.
Yeah, and it has been 5 years already, so...
Yeah. Well, I'm not even kidding. They count special editions as like new games.
Okay.
That's why whenever 4 came out, there was like several years before special edition came out, and then there were several years before reboot came out, and then there were like 5 years before this came out.
I guess that makes
There were like
sense.
2 years before fucking special edition came out. It's just so on and so forth.
Yeah.
After 3, they stopped doing like the yearly releases.
Which honestly,
which-
that's probably for the best.
It definitely is.
At least in this environment nowadays.
Right.
But yeah, I'm sure they'll do something at some point, and I'm excited to see what it is.
Yeah, me too. Definitely. I'm curious to see if they actually double down on Nero, especially with the Ruben Langdon stuff.
Yeah. It'll definitely be interesting.
Yes.
Maybe we'll finally get DMC Devil May Cry 2.
That would be the most crazy option.
I feel like that would probably actually be really fucking funny though if they were self-aware and they made it actually terrible.
That would be.
But
pretty
it was
funny.
it was still fun. They just made it they just made the story the dumbest fucking thing possible.
Yeah, that would be like. What if they rebooted it, or not rebooted it, but they made a sequel to the reboot, and they just repasted the villain from 2. That'd be fucking hilarious.
That would be pretty cool. We get to see
No.
the gritty version of Arius.
Yeah, that'd be fucking. They give Dante a coin. It's fucking awesome. I kind of hope that
fucking
happens now.
Yeah, I would buy it.
I'd be forced to. Yeah. All right. You would you like to wrap this up?
I would. We've been talking for I think a little over 4 hours. So.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah, it was fun talking about these games though.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited to hear what you have to recommend though.
Oh yes.
'Cause
Oh
it's
yes.
been 3 episodes, and the first one we decided it beforehand. The second one I decided, and this one was just coincidence. So
Yeah, it was happenstance.
Yeah,
Because
so-
in between episodes, you're like, I've fucking beat half the franchise. Oh, I guess we'll do the episode now. So do you remember when I was playing through Rift Apart, and I mentioned how much I like underwater levels and shit when you're playing as a somewhat like a creature not native
oh
to the
god,
water? Do you know what's happening?
yes, I know what's happening.
Go ahead and say it.
Is it Soma?
No, we're gonna play BioShock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I tricked you. I tricked you.
Oh, that's actually really awesome because I've been playing System Shock Remake.
Nice.
So yeah, I've
What does
never.
that have to do with BioShock?
BioShock is a spiritual successor to System Shock.
Oh, that's so cool. What a coincidence. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I'm a big fan of those kinds of games. So, and I've never played
awesome.
BioShock before. So
You've never played it?
oh, I've played like the first hour of it before. I've never beaten it. I've never played more
Okay.
than the first hour.
I think I've only played the first handful of hours.
Okay,
So
we're
we're pretty
both
well
going
in
in
this.
blind. Okay.
Yeah, because I played it when it came out, and I was scared to fucking death of it, so I just never played it anymore. That's also when I was like 10, so I was just fucking switching between like 3 Dragon Ball games.
Awesome. This is exciting.
Uh,
I'll install the game fucking as soon as I wake up in the morning.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing through it and seeing what it's about.
Awesome. Yeah, this is a lot of the reason I wanted to do this too, because I probably it would have been fucking forever until I actually got around to playing any of those fucking games. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you had the idea to recommend them. It'll be
of
it'll be a
course.
fun conversation too, because it'll be our first time beating it too. So
Yeah. We'll just do the first game, of course, and then in the future, if we want to do the other ones, we can.
okay.
But I partially got the idea because one, I have it.
Do you have remastered or do you have the port or like the collection edition? Because there's a
have the
few different versions.
I have the collection with 1 and 2.
Okay. I think
Um,
I also have that, so that's the one I'll play.
Cool. We'll be even then. But I got the idea because I was talking to my brother like a month ago, and apparently the team that made BioShock is making like a BioShock successor, basically.
Mm.
So
You know-
we were talking about that.
You know what those guys also make?
What?
XCOM,
Oh, that's cool.
which I'm a big
There's
XCOM fan too.
who
so
knows? By the end of this playthrough, they might be like one of your favorite companies.
Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to that.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good time.
Well, if you don't want to be if you don't want your experience ruined for BioShock, you should play it before the next episode, and we ruin everything by talking about all of it and
We're gonna
spoiling
talk
all
about
of
it for forever.
Yeah, not quite as long as we talked about Devil May Cry.
Now, how funny would it be if every episode just got like 30 minutes longer than the last?
We talked about BioShock for like 5 hours.
Episode 20, we're like talking about fucking Minecraft for like 8 hours straight or something.
That would be pretty awesome, actually.
That'd be fucking awesome.
We're analyzing every detail of it. I think we did make.
every last pixel.
I think we made pretty good time considering we were talking about 6 fucking games, though. So
Yeah. Oh, I feel like I could have talked longer about it because I do love the series, but like it's already 5. I got to be up at like noon.
yeah,
so.
fair enough. It would do me well to go to bed, also. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it was a good conversation. I'm glad that we decided to do this episode now.
Yeah, I'm glad you just happened to like actually dive into the fucking series.
Yeah.
So.
Now you won't have to recommend any of them.
Yeah. It's
You
a
can
fucking
focus.
asshole.
You can focus
like-
your views to abroad at new experiences.
I've like 3 times in this episode alone I've talked about how little games I play and you fucking stole like 6 from me. So yeah, no. BioShock's pretty fucking cool though. We'll be playing it
Yeah.
soon. I'm glad I was able to trick you out with the Soma thing though.
Yeah, I was actually terrified at first because I'm terrible at playing horror games on my own because I'm a
Yeah, I know.
baby.
You still haven't beaten RE2 remake.
Yeah, or RE7,
Maybe
which I will play those if you recommend them at some point.
I was gonna say because RE7 was one of the finalists for shit I wanted to do.
Nice.
But that being said, I won't do it next time probably because by next time I've already had more ideas since then.
Yeah.
So,
I'll have
but yeah,
to
it's
I'll have to get
fucking
thinking about what
epic.
I want to recommend next. Because I was thinking about doing Prey, but since we're doing BioShock, Prey's kind of a similar kind of game, so
Uh-huh.
I'm probably not going to do that. I'll
I
figure it out
gotcha.
though.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, we'll reconvene at a later date to talk about BioShock.
Yes, next time.
It'll be awesome. I'm sure there will be other gaming stuff to talk about by then also, hopefully.
Yeah, actually, there's a pretty big rumor that Summer Games Fest, I think it's this weekend, they're probably going to announce season 2 for Street Fighter, so
Oh, okay. Yeah, Alex has
I'll
been talking
I'll
about that, so
nice. I'll at least have something to talk about next episode, I'm sure.
awesome. I'll find something to talk about.
Excellent. Cool.
But yeah, we'll go ahead and end it here.
Okay.
It's good talk, and we'll meet again to talk about BioShock in however long it fucking takes.
Yes.